Sports Network.
The Nationals are making life difficult for the Mets and their fans. 13 runs, 11 hits last night, a pair of 3-run bombs, and a solid bullpen performance that kept the Mets from gaining any momentum. See if the Nats can catch them looking ahead again tonight on Masson. And the spoilers are at it again tonight. It's the Nationals at Shea Stadium, hoping to take another bite or two out of this apple by the time this series ends tomorrow night after an unexpected blowout win last night. We've got to be honest about that. It was quite pleasant. Bob and Don, welcome to the ballpark. Jason Bergman for the Nats. Pitching pretty well, getting lots of support, though, from his buddies.
Yeah, and all he has to do, pitching part of it, is follow up his performance against the Phillies with another one just like it. Gave up a 2-run homer in the first. He would end up striking out 7 and only allowing a couple of hits the rest of the way. Good fastball, best curveball. But you're right, early in the year, he was pitching well and not getting anything to show for it. A good example of how he was pitching well there. 347 earned run average, 1-5. Then he's not pitching well, but he's giving runs, and he's 4-0. I guess the old adage is true. It all evens out. That's the best example of it I've ever seen. And he's going against the newest 300-game winner and a future Hall of Famer, a guy who, Bob, has made a living and a great career out of making adjustments.
And he lives on that outside corner. John Roush has been outstanding for the Nats lately. We'll hear from Big John coming up, so straight ahead, it's D-O-N with J-O-N. A little taste of Indian summer at Shea Stadium tonight. It is actually warm and rather muggy, and the ball might be flying even better than it did last night. Here's the Nationals lineup, and it's brought to you by Southwest.com. Ryan Zimmerman wearing out left-handers, first in the National League, third in all of Major League Baseball, and he's riding an 11-game hitting streak. Ronnie Bellard in front, Austin Kearns behind him tonight.
And they have complemented each other so well in the last few ball games. We talked to Ray and Johnny about that 8-game streak where they've been hitting well. It seems like if the opposition makes a mistake, 3 guys capital on it. In our lineup, Batista with 30 at-bats against Glavine hitting 300. Brian Schneider with 35. He's just above 250. And there is a look at Tom Glavine. By the way, one other note on him. He's 7-1 in this ballpark. He does give you some base runners. You'll get some people on, but don't expect him to ever give in. His idea of living life on the edge is on the outer edge of the plate. That's as big a risk as he takes.
41 years of age, 303 wins, 2 Cy Youngs, 5 World Series, 10 All-Star games, and he's pitched 200 innings 13 times in his career. We're underway right on time at 7:10 Eastern. Felipe Lopez right-handed this year, hitting .269. And that would Sloan away 2-0, 82 degrees at game time. So it's 8 degrees warmer than it was last night. We're just having remarkable September weather in New York City. Yeah, like he was going to get a 2-0 fastball. Great competitor, great athlete, great changeup. 2-2.
And when you look at his section of the Mets media guide and you go to transactions, you do not see disable list anywhere. He has never been on the DL.
No wonder you admire him so much. Neither were you. Felipe with a good swing. That's what you've got to do. Wait him out. Austin Kearns called it right after the game last night when he talked to Debbie Taylor. Be patient, wait him out, and go the other way. And let's have a look at the Mets defensively. And Don, this is not the same team defensively it was for the first 4 months of the season.
No, it's not. It's just not playing as well. Wright, Reyes, Castillo, and Delgado in the infield. You saw Alou, Beltran, and Green in the outfield. LaDuca behind the plate in Glavine making his 33rd start. Not only are they making physical errors, but they're making mental errors. They're making mistakes and plays that a division-leading ball club should not make.
Ronnie Bellard up next. Willie Randolph's Mets only 2 games up on the Phillies, and the Phillies hosting Atlanta tonight. Chuck James and Jamie Moyer, 2 hours south of here. And Don, I got a question for you about Tom Glavine as he throws over. I don't remember us having much conversation about him and base runners. How is he holding runners? How does he do in that department?
He varies it. That's a great question. He varies his time over there. I won't say that he has a very deceptive move, but he can give you a couple of good looks, a couple of different looks, and he can go short stride. I guess they call it the slide step and a number of other things as he did there. But I don't think you will see with a good base runner at first, Bob, the same look on 2 consecutive pitches.
And by the way, in Philly, the Braves have 2 men on with nobody out in the top of the first. A little bit low. 8-year veteran Bill Welke behind the plate tonight. We've got a crew chief at first base who will have the plate tomorrow evening, and John Hirschbeck, Laz Diaz, and Wally Bell.
Milwaukee not quite as liberal a plate as the Hirschbeck brothers. But a fair strike zone for Welke.
The other National League East club in action tonight, the Marlins, Dontrell Willis and Ted Lilly as the Cubs visit Florida. They ought to get some people in the park for that. Ronnie with a foul ball that slams off Paul Loduca, and he is shaken up. Crowd cheering for the kid from Brooklyn.
I think that not only got some chest protector, but I think it got some hand too, some throwing hand. But he's a tough one.
I am forever amazed that catchers don't have more broken right elbows and broken right hands.
I think this goes off the shin guard. No, it went off the chest protector and caught him high up there. It didn't get his arm. But that's, you figure the collarbone is right behind where that hit. And you only got about, what, a half inch, quarter of an inch of padding there?
And of course, a lot of muscles and nerves from that area extend down into the arm, and he was shaking it. So it's 2-2 to Ronnie Bellard, who had a big night last night, and he has really done well against Mets pitching lately. Felipe got a good jump. That's a ball. Lopez safe at second easily with his 24th of the year.
Maybe it's taking unfair advantage of Loduca, but he running after a guy gets a foul tip up there where the nerves and all the things you mentioned are, is a pretty smart play.
And I would have to say, in Paul Loduca's defense, he really jumped this one on Tom Glavine.
Yes, he did. It's one of the few times you will see Glavine allow somebody to get that big of a jump.
So it's 3-2 to Bellard. He could put the Nationals on top right now. And he'll take a high strike for the first out of the game. Don Sutton's analysis right on the mark. He did not give in on 3-2.
A change up that I think he wanted on the inside corner. He got that.
Third baseman, number 11.
And by book
Zimmerman.
interpretation, that changeup will tumble back. And by book interpretation, that is not a high pitch. That's right at the top of the belt. Of course, about half the umpires who umpire do not call that a strike.
Only Maglio Ordonez has a higher batting average in Major League Baseball than Ryan Zimmerman. Ordonez at 408, Zimmerman 397. Ryan's been sitting on 89 RBIs for several days. He's on a pace for 92 by Sunday, trying to extend his hitting streak to 12 games.
And he's about a 370 hitter in his career against Tom Glavine, 7 out of 19.
And they're about as happy as at Citizens Bank Park as they were here last night. Top of the first, Mark Teixeira just hit a 3-run homer against Jamie Moyer.
Probably off of a changeup, wouldn't you guess?
You would think. He's got plenty of strength to provide all the muscle for that. Zimmerman takes one, 3-0. The Braves are 5 back of the Mets, 3 back of the Phillies, so Atlanta's 3 out in the wild card race. San Diego lost last night, so they're tied with the Phillies for the wild card championship.
For a guy who doesn't give in, and we talked about Glavine, he averages fewer than 3 walks per 9 innings. Usually those guys are classified as nibblers, and you see 5 and 6 walks a ball game, but he doesn't get himself into those kind of ball games.
And a 3-1 misses. 2 on 1 out.
Bob, let's check out our game notes. Ryan Zimmerman, you mentioned the hitting streak. It's the highest, ties the highest earlier this year, Bellard and Church. Teeing off on the Mets last night, the most they've ever scored here at Shea. And Jason Bergman wears out righties, and lefties, when they hit it solidly, have hit most of the home runs that he's given up.
Interesting. I thought that there wasn't a game like that last night that we'd ever seen here with the Nationals, and a record-setting night for this franchise against the Mets. Now here's Kearns, 15 homers this year. His 15th against the Mets last night was his 4th of the year against this ball club. Glavine gets ahead. Kearns hitting .328 over his last 37 games, and his next RBI will be number 70.
Well, he had some good at-bats last night, and he's going through a stretch right now where if you make a mistake, he's not missing it. He got that hanging slider last night and just hammered it.
Austin Kearns last year had 50 RBIs with the Reds, 36 with the Nationals. So he will not come anywhere near that, but with a big weekend, he could be up in the mid-70s. Lenny Harris. Saw him in the hotel last night. Boy, was he smiling. Daylight play, and Felipe's back. Now usually a daylight play involves the shortstop, so I'm not sure. Maybe we would call that a waiting at the bag play, because the second baseman Castillo over there in a hurry.
Usually they call it that's an open glove play. If the second baseman gives you the open glove, that's a time to wheel and throw. Yeah, because you got nothing but daylight between the second baseman and the bag, so just a timing play.
2-1. Arizona's at Pittsburgh tonight. The Diamondbacks are 3 up on San Diego, and they've just given up 2 runs in the first inning. Of course, there's an odd number of teams in the West, so somebody's got to be playing out of the division. In there to Kearns, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Willie Mo Pe1a. Good to see Willie Mo back in the lineup. Nationals had him in there to start at home on Sunday, had to scratch him. He did not appear last night. And what will the score be when he comes in?
After getting hit twice, Bob, on the wrist, it took him a while to get any flexibility. He could squeeze his fingers in his hand, but he couldn't bend his wrist back at all. Couldn't stretch it forward or back. It was very painful.
And you cannot hit without your wrists.
That's right. Think about trying to roll the bat over without extending your right arm hand.
Kearns takes one that just misses, and another long count for Tom Glavine. Felipe Lopez single to right to start the game, stole second. Bellard struck out, and then Zimmerman walked. Carlos Delgado plays behind Ryan, so you've got a couple of runners here that'll get good head starts. Kearns goes deep to left. See you later. Into the bullpen. 3-0 Nationals, and Austin Kearns has driven in 6 runs on 2 swings in this series.
He's sizzling, and what were we saying earlier about what he's doing to every mistake now? When you're struggling, they get you out with their pitches, and they get you out with your pitches. Mistakes are popped up or hit on the ground or hit into double play. But when you're hot, you're hitting some of their good pitches, and you're hitting all of their bad ones. A changeup that drifted in toward the middle, and he was all over it.
How about Austin Kearns with 72 RBIs now? Going into the Sunday game against the Phillies, Austin Kearns had 64 RBIs. How about that? 8 RBIs in just over 2 ball games. Still only 1 out in the inning. And a strike to Willie Mo Pe1a, quickly 0-2.
First curveball of the night served up by Glavine.
Kearns with his 16th homer of the year and 5 of them against the Mets. Two outs. And evidently the country boy from Kentucky likes the Big Apple.
First baseman, number 77, Tony Batista.
Tony Batista gets the start at first base tonight. And a very respectable batting average of .253 because of his recent surge. Much like that of D'Angelo Jimenez, who has worked his batting average now up to .242, and Robert Fick at .241. Evidently on the East Coast tonight, it's not a good thing to throw changeups. Jamie Moyer paid, Tom Glavine paid. So 2 hours apart, visiting teams on top 3-0 early. That relaxes Jim Bowden a little bit.
Yeah, he was a little restless last night when the Mets got some base runners.
And Batista gets a breaking ball. It's 4-0 Washington. Tony with his second of the year.
And the natives are getting very restless and very intolerant even of a 300-game winner.
Tom Glavine has now given up 22 home runs this year in 196 innings.
That looked like his curveball, but
Yeah.
a tumbler.
Four on the board for Washington. Here's Brian Schneider.
That's about as much emotion as you will ever see out of Tom Glavine, too.
And just because you have a bunch of right-handers in the lineup, that doesn't mean the lefties are that intimidated by Tom Glavine. He's just as tough on right-handers as he is on these guys.
There have been a couple of switch hitters who've gone into the left-handed batter's box to take a change-up away from him. And there are a lot of managers who have put left-handers in there just for that reason.
That's a strike on the outer half to Brian, batting .232. Brian Schneider has finally accomplished something that I've been kind of quietly rooting for him to do all year. He has more walks than strikeouts. 55 walks, 54 Ks.
That's why you look at his batting average and it just doesn't seem right as much and as solidly as he puts the ball in play.
That ball solidly hit. Diving, Castillo, and Schneider will beat it out. Well played by Luis Castillo. Couldn't get anything on the throw, and Brian Schneider gets himself a hit. That'll get Justin Maxwell, the number 8 hitter, to the plate in the first inning.
Number 16, Justin Maxwell.
Went out and got that pitch away. That's the one Glavine wanted him to roll over, but he didn't. Almost ended up with a one-handed swing, but a swing that took it up the middle.
Yeah, wasn't that a nice, easy swing? And he got the sweet spot on it. The little double plump by Castillo there. Now here's Maxwell. You make a mistake to him, he'll hit it a mile and make it 6-0. He's 4 for 15 in his first 11 major league games.
Mom without the cap. I hope that's not bad luck. You know, Bob, we're gonna do an interview with Justin tomorrow before the game, and I talked to him about doing it. Graciously consented, and one of the things I told him I wanted to ask him was the difference between minor leagues and here. I bet after facing Glavine, he'll have some differences to note.
Yeah, Tom really slowed down his bat right there. Reyes to Castillo, and the Nats with a big inning. 4 runs. First 3 came in on that swing on Austin Kearns, a changeup, and then Tony Batista got a breaking ball, and out he goes. And the Nats put a big crooked number up first inning. Austin Kearns put the Nats up 3-0. Tony Batista added to it. And by the way, Jimmy Rollins has just hit a leadoff homer for the Phillies in the bottom of the first. We hope that doesn't happen with Jose Reyes coming up against Jason Bergman. Moises Alou, he's still hitting and hitting. 28 games, he's hitting .382. His previous best hitting streak was 23 games with the 2001 Astros.
A couple guys in the lineup that have had good swings against Jason Bergman, but a couple of guys that he can go to for outs. Wright 1 for 8, Alou 0 for 3, and Sean Green without a hit in 5 tries against him. The priority now is get strike 1 and follow up on that.
Fastball up to Reyes, who's hit 10 homers this year. 6th in the league in hits and 3rd in runs behind Jimmy Rollins' 133, counting his home run, and Hanley Ramirez in his 118. By the way, that was Jimmy Rollins' 30th homer of the year. So he's easily a 30-30 guy. Oh my goodness.
That's killed.
Can you believe this? Jimmy Rollins does it in Philly, Reyes does it in New York, and it's a 4-1 game that quickly. And the problem is that wakes up the stadium.
Well, in the last ball game Bergman pitched, he gave up a 2-run homer in the first, then he came back and was dominant. Maybe it'll work that way tonight. That ball was massacred up against the scoreboard.
Yeah, that might be the longest homer I've ever seen that guy hit. Here's Luis Castillo. Bergman's given up his 18th homer in 67 innings. And they're having some fun.
See, that's where the celebration coach comes in. That's his job, is to teach them how to do that.
And evidently when he's not playing, that's what Anderson Hernandez does. High chopper to short. Lopez has to wait for it. Throws it in the dirt, and a real good pick by Tony Batista on the backhand side.
You have seen some of the defenders. Let's check out the rest of them. It's Pe1a in left, Maxwell in center, Kearns in the right field spot, Zimmerman and Lopez who saw the play. Bellard and Batista. Good pickup there by Tony. Brian Schneider will catch. This is start number 20 for Jason Bergman.
David Wright next. Bergman came into this game with an opponent's batting average of only .224. David Wright, 5th in the league in hits. Now tied with his teammate Reyes with 187. He really gets good extension on his swing that enables him to get the big part of the bat to that outside corner. He doesn't just hit the ball off the end of the bat out there.
And he doesn't go out there and go around the ball. He drives it the other way. That's why I think that's a good pitch there. You have to make him inside conscious, because he is most comfortable, and we've talked about Ryan Zimmerman doing this a lot. He's most comfortable going into the plate and driving the ball the other way.
The confines here at Shea Stadium are very close to home plate. Now, we want you to see how far away from home plate Carlos Beltran is. If David Wright slices a foul ball,
it's a no chance.
Carlos Beltran may not survive. It's hard for me to believe that baseball lets an on-deck batter stand that close to home plate. He's maybe 40 feet away.
Especially if they've got time for the fashion police to go hassle a manager early in the ball game. I don't think that's going to cause anybody any injury, is it?
Ooh.
Not having your jersey top on?
Yeah. Well, that time Jason Bergman made a good pitch and got it to the outside part of David Wright's bat. That'll bring up Beltran. Manalapan, New Jersey, right in the middle of the state, is where Jason Bergman was born and raised. It's a big deal for him to pitch in New York City. He was really looking forward to it. Hard hit, right to Ronnie. Beltran gone. So after the Reyes homer, 3 consecutive ground balls, a wild first inning, 4-1 Nats.
4-1. A lot of offense in the first inning. Nationals fans, the grand opening of your new ballpark is just around the corner, and starting in 2008, Every inch of the place is available for your next private party, corporate event, or social function. It's only limited by your imagination. If you're interested, contact Barry Lurie, B-A-R-I, events@nationals.com, or call 202-675-6287.
3 for 33 is Jason Bergman with the bat this year. The former Rutgers Scarlet Knight stepping in.
Mets used to have a manager here who was a bonus baby out of Rutgers, and one of their stars, a Hall of Famer there, Jeff Torborg.
He managed that crazy ball club in the 92-93 time that had David Cohn. They brought in Brett Saberhagen, Bobby Bonilla, and they were just supposed to run over the National League. They were horrible for 2 years. I felt so bad for Jeff. He did everything he could to get that ball club going, and they were a gigantic bust. That was really one of the first free agent teams that really was a total bust.
See, that's happened to him more than one place. He's a good baseball man.
He is. 2-2 to Bergman. Tom Glavine strikes him out on a pitch up. Glavine with 3 strikeouts early. Right back to the top of the order where Felipe Lopez got it going in the first inning with that opposite field hit on a 2-strike count. Always good to see your leadoff man's uniform dirty early in the game, huh? That means he's probably been on base sliding around. Felipe stole his 24th of the year after that single. Right off the end of the bat, a little pop fly to center. Beltran on the move, and he will get there.
That's a good play, but he's the only one that can get to it. Remember, he's playing with a cranky leg. He's not 100%, but he was quoted in the paper as saying it's a pennant race and we're busy and we need everybody out there. So a nice skidding, sliding catch. Turn the glove over so they would not hit the ground and pop out of it.
Yeah, he got it in the web just before it hit the turf. Ronnie Bellard is next. Now Ronnie knows what the strike zone is, at least what it was last inning from Bill Welke. He took a high strike on 3-2. Broke his bat, Reyes, and a very quick top of the second. We've had a bit of a momentum shift. We'll see what the Mets can do with it. Alou coming up.
Mets coming up bottom of the second, find themselves down 4-1. The baseball playoffs are just around the corner, and where do baseball fans go to catch all the action? Well, if you're in D.C., you go to the ESPN zone right there in the district. More than 100 high-definition TVs, including one with a 16-foot screen, a 10,000-square-foot sports arena, and all your American Girl favorites. ESPN zone will guarantee to deliver the ultimate sports and entertainment experience. October's going to be interesting. Watch it unfold there at the ESPN zone.
Those were not boos you heard a moment ago. Those were Alous. Longest streak in baseball this year, longest of his career. He's 42 for 110 during these 28 games. It's kind of funny because usually when we're telling you about a hitting streak, a guy might have a 10-game streak and we'll say he's 17 for his last 40. You hardly ever say he's something for 110.
That's right. Hitting near 400 during that stretch.
That's how long this streak has gone on for Moises Alou.
Well, it's a month. Getting a hit every day for a month.
Little chopper. Zimmerman hurrying. There's another hit for Alou. And it doesn't hurt to have a little luck as well when you're on a long streak.
Now, I was going to say, when you're going good, you're going good. Not a good swing. That's one of those where he didn't hit it hard enough to get it out. That ball out away from him, a good breaking ball, right over the top of it. You can't play it any better than Zimmerman. But to Alou's credit, he didn't do a little sightseeing there. He just took off running, tucked his head down, and ran right through the bag.
Brian Zimmerman probably made that play closer than it should have been. He was outstanding there. And here's Delgado, and they talk about a bloop and a blast. Well, you worry about a bleeder and a blast. with this guy coming up. The big shift is on. Although with a runner at first, Don, Ronnie Belliard's not in the outfield as he normally is.
No, and I don't understand why he has to come in with a runner on base. I kind of like the idea of having him back and increasing his angle. See how close he is there?
The only thing I can figure is Manny figures if there's a hard ground ball, Belliard could still turn a double play from there to Zimmerman.
Good point. That's got to be the reason. You're right. From right field, he can't turn it out. You're 100% right.
Carlos Delgado, big home run guy in his career. I was a little surprised to see that he's in the top 40 all time. He's tied with Cal Ripken Jr. with 431. There they are.
And a lot of runs driven home.
He's going to be an interesting HOF discussion someday. Hall of Fame or no?
And he's not through. He's going to put some more numbers up there.
My personal feeling is, and that's a big out for Jason Bergman. By today's standards, less than 400 home runs is not going to put you in Cooperstown.
I would agree with that. I think 500 is still going to be the standard that makes it almost automatic.
Yeah.
Well, they got him last night with some good sliders. That looked like I thought it was a slider for a second, but it may have been a sinker that went away from him.
Yeah, it
had late action.
It looked harder than a changeup. He had some great action on that. And here's Loduca, who's been on an RBI binge. And this is not that speedy of a catcher. You know how many double plays he's hit into this year? You can count them on one hand with all 5 fingers. Paul Loduca, 21 RBIs in his last 18 games. That's a hard slider outside, 2-0. Phillies settled for that 1 run in the first. It's 3-1 now, top 3 Braves. And the Diamondbacks came back with a home run in the top of the second. They trail at Pittsburgh 2-1. A young man by the name of Niger. And that ball's low and away. Niger Morgan, who's now playing center field for the Pirates, hit a home run to give Pittsburgh those 2 runs in the first inning. Marlins have a couple early against the Cubs, too. Jason Bergman just got a big out, and then he walks the right-handed batter on 4 pitches, and that brings the tying run to the plate with Sean Green, and we know how well he is swinging right now.
Yeah, it's scary to walk a right-handed hitter to face Green, who I think he hit everything between the dugouts up in Washington. This whole month he's hitting right about 400. He scored 11 runs. He has 7 runs driven in for the month.
Must have been a little bit inside. I thought the hitter jammed himself with that move, but Bergman did not get the call from Bill Welke.
That's what Sean Green was doing in D.C. too, was starting open, closing up, and diving to get pitches out away from him.
Good fastball there. The Marlins have put 4 runs on the board in the bottom of the second, and they have 6 hits against the Cubs' Ted Lilly already. So we've got early fireworks up and down the East Coast in the National League tonight.
Jason looks like he is having a difficult time, maybe not repeating his delivery, but repeating the rhythm that he was in when he got the ground out from Castillo, Wright, and Beltran. He got into a nice groove.
2 balls and a strike to Green. who's hitting .396 in September, highlighted by an outstanding series at RFK last week. Pitch up. He had designs on tying the game right there, and Bergman gets the count back even 2-2.
Let's check out the swing, see if we can tell what the pitch was. He looks like he starts out to get it and then has to draw his hand. That would lead you to believe it might have been a cutter fastball. Very awkward swing from Shawn Green.
The pitcher is on deck in Tom Glavine. Down through the years, an outstanding hitter. But if you get an out here, then you're one step away from being out of this inning.
Good pitch on the hands, good velocity. But the only safe way to go away from Green right now is with something off speed. You're better off getting him on the inside part if you're going to go fastball. It's scary with a hot hitter too when you get to the count where you have to throw strikes, that he fouls away your two best pitches. Because everybody, you know, nobody is perfect. Nobody's going to make 15 or 20 consecutive perfect pitches.
And you know, Don, this is interesting. Tony Batista's not talking, he's listening. Left-handed hitter, the first baseman wants to know what pitch they're throwing here.
Mark Tony Batista's name down somewhere and think about it. He's going to be coaching or managing in the big leagues someday. That's my prediction.
He just sprinted over there to know what was going on. I like that.
Where should I play him?
3-2 again. Right on the hands.
And you notice he's staying very close to the line. Batista is.
Don, is there another way an infielder can find out what pitch is coming?
Well, I don't think you can if you're up the middle, short or second, yes. Third or first, it's hard to see location. Those two guys up the middle can watch Brian Schneider, but that's about the only way. Sometimes the catcher will give him an outside sign. He may have something to let the corner infielders know where it's going. You know, maybe after giving the sign, he touches his mask once, or maybe touches the side of it, just to let the infielders know if they're going to do anything unusual, so they can adjust, maybe not so much adjust their positioning, but lean one way or the other.
Fastball again spoiled by Shawn Green.
This is where the temptation jumps in to, well, I got to drop a curveball on him, because you've made good pitches with the fastball for nothing, with nothing to show for it. But a changeup is going to speed his bat up unless it's so slow you get him way out in front. So if he called here.
This place is going to go crazy if he gets a hit or walks after this at bat.
Brian Schneider just went out and said, keep pumping strikes.
Jason Bergman turns 26 on this 25th of September. And aging considerably here in the bottom of the second inning in a titanic battle with Shawn Green. 2 on, 1 out. The Nationals lead by 3.
Trying to get the ball in on him, but it's drifting out away from him, and he's just not catching up to the pitches up.
And we'd like to welcome all of you who just tuned in for Foul Ball Derby. I've never seen this event before. This is amazing. Lo Duca behind Alou. He hit it fair. It's a base hit. Moises Alou will score to make it 4-2. If that ball's 10 feet either way, it's a double play.
But after all the pitches inside and up that he got him to foul back, he looked like he got one down and out away from him where he could extend. And you got a ground ball. You can't always control where it goes. Yeah, that's out away from him so he could extend. Bergman tried to do the behind the back grab and a skate save.
And with a score 4-2, Tom Glavine could be bunting here to move the tying run to second base.
I would guess that'd be a lead pipe cinch.
You've got Reyes next.
Glavine's good at this. He has 11 sacrifices, but he's second on the ball club to John Main, who has 13. But he's always been good at this. He's always been good at the other skills that can help you win a ball game. A very good fielder. He'll have some good at bats to help himself. It's hitting 214, but I think this is an automatic bunt situation.
.212 career sacrifice bunts. 213. That'll go 5-4 if you're scoring.
Made the third baseman feel the ball on a couple of hops. That's what you want to do if you can do that.
After the Nationals scored 4 in the top of the first, Jose Reyes injected some life into the stadium where they had been booing 2 minutes before. He hit a home run to lead it off. And now, one time around the batting order later, and each team has skated through the order pretty quickly, he has a chance to tie the game or put the Mets on top.
This is where, if you're Jason Bergman, you got to figure out something. You got to reverse the slide here. You reach down inside. There's got to be something there that you call on to get out of this inning right here.
And if he gets the out, he has a 2-run lead after 2. Any pitcher in baseball would be happy to have that. Fastball up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's got a way to go to catch his first base coach. That ball hit well to left center, but Willie Moe is there. Sounded good off the bat. And that's it. The Mets pick up a run. Bergman and the Nats still by 2.
4-2 the score as we head to the third inning in our Geico highlights. Austin Kearns has been dialing up the number 3 for a couple of nights. Last night he did it in the 5th inning. Didn't wait that long tonight, though. Needed some runs on the board early in the first inning off Tom Glavine. Single by Lopez, a walk to Zimmerman, a 3-run homer. The Nationals were on the board. That's our Geico highlights.
Austin Kearns will bat after Ryan Zimmerman here. He's hit back-to-back homers, by the way, in successive games for the first time this year. Change up for a strike to Zimmerman, who walked and scored ahead of the Kearns home run after Lopez singled in that 4-run first. Tony Batista would add a solo 1 out later.
You know, one of the things you can learn, and every young pitcher should watch Tom Glavine, is his resiliency, his ability to rebound. Nationals may get more runs off of him tonight, But you're not going to see him go to a panic mode and start changing everything he does if you get a 4-spot and 2 home runs in the first inning. His ability to stay focused and to be single-minded about what his job is the reason he has 300 wins and is the first ballot Hall of Famer. Sometimes that's a hard lesson for a young pitcher to learn. Once you get touched up, and everybody's going to give up runs. Once you get touched up for a couple of runs, don't let the game get away from you.
Zimmerman takes ball 3. I know how Jason Bergman can look at things right now. He can look up, and after 2 innings, he has a 2-run lead, and he's thrown fewer pitches than Tom Glavine. Tom Glavine threw 37 pitches in the first inning. And then, of course, Bergman, well, it took him 29 to get through the second, but he has a lower pitch count. He has a 2-run lead, and he's working with a great guy there, Ryan Schneider.
That's one thing Schneider does well, is talk pitching with his pitchers between innings. He likes to talk pitching.
That's well hit by Zimmerman. It'll plug the gap in right center. Beltran will cut it off, and Ryan Zimmerman motors into second base. He's been on a doubles streak lately. That'll be his 42nd, so he has 5 triples. That's 47 hits. Had 24 homers. He has 71 extra base hits.
And he took Austin Kearns' advice. Be patient. Get into a hitter's count, and then don't try to do too much. Don't think you're going to get a pitch to hit into the bullpen behind the left field fence. Stay with the ball and take what Glavine is going to give you.
12-game hitting streak for Ryan now. Well, these guys are so strong, they don't have to swing hard to plug a gap. And if you really catch one, it'll go out. And Paulo Duca just got clipped by a foul ball again. Let's see. Oof.
It looked like one that caught the inside of the thigh. And you know, if somebody ever walks up, like you're sitting down, somebody walks and slaps you on the inside of the thigh, you know how that feels. Hurts like heck. Just think about getting hit there with a baseball.
One-on-one to Kearns, having a big series. That is just foul by about 3 feet outside the bag. And it'll be a count of 1-2. It's 8 o'clock in the Big Apple, New York City, the borough of Queens, the town of Flushing. The stadium is Shea. The crew's Bob, Don, and Debbie. And the network is Masson. Glad you're with us tonight. It's been a wild start to this one. The Nats have out-hit the Mets 5-3 and lead 4-2. Beautiful skyline tonight. Oh, that's the fake one. Sorry.
It looks beautiful. You were accurate.
Yeah. All lit up in neon tonight. The real one's back there somewhere. A city that never sleeps. And I have sirens outside my window every night to prove that. And a 2-2 to Kearns. A little bit inside. You know what? The other thing about Austin Kearns, when you see him taking pitches like this, he's really seeing the ball well.
Yes, he is. And has an idea of what to expect from the pitcher and to recognize it early. Not only the pitch, but as to whether or not it's a strike. Lenny Harris's favorite situation, hitters count. Don't try to do too much.
Right down the middle. Probably had a little run on it. And Kearns called on strikes. No advancement by the runner, of course. And that's a big first out for Tom Glavine.
Let's take a look at our Toyota League leaders. Our leaderboard. Tom Glavine, the winningest left-hander going. Randy Johnson at 284. Looked like he was on his way to 300. But a back flared up on him. David Wells needs 62. Jamie Moyer 71. And Kenny Rogers needs 90. Probably on that list. Randy Johnson, if he gets well, has a shot.
That's a really interesting thing, Don, because there has been conversation, the way baseball is now, the way pitchers are pampered. Tom Glavine might be the last 300-game winner we ever see.
Right.
Now, isn't that something to think about?
Shows you how much we're lowering the standards.
Willie Moe goes up the middle, and that should drive in a run. Here comes Zimmerman. He will score, and the Nats lead 5-2 on Willie Moe Pe1a's 20th RBI in 33 games as a National. Had some good wrist action on that swing too, so obviously he's feeling much better.
Didn't roll over the top of it. See him go into the ball. You very seldom see him go in with the upper part of his body, lean out like he's trying to drive it right back through the pitcher's glove.
So the Nats get one of those Mets runs back. Here's Batista, who gave the Nationals a 4-run top of the first with his second home run. And for Tony, that was his 221st career home run. That ball popped up over to the right side, and Luis Castillo is there. 2 outs. No changes anywhere on the scoreboard among the contending teams right now. The Yankees are playing at Tampa Bay tonight. They have a run early. The Red Sox are at home with Oakland. They're tied at 1. The Yankees are throwing Roger Clemens. He is 6-6 with a 4.18 ERA. And the Red Sox are throwing Curt Schilling 8-8 with a 3.97 ERA. Well, evidently the Yankees have just increased their lead. Alex Rodriguez, a grand slam, his 53rd home run of the year. His RBI total is 151.
Have a nice year.
Whew. Boy, what a wonderful October choice. You either get to bring the Yankees into your ballpark or you get to go to Boston. Well, although the Red Sox have faded a bit, and it's possible they might have to go on the road, every one of the division leaders with 92 wins over there right now. Schneider with a high hopper, backing up Castillo, no problem for him. But a good top of the third for the Nationals. Zimmerman's double, Pe1a's single, 5-2 Nats.
On the corner, you got to get on the phone as quick as possible. 202-675-6287 or go to nationals.com. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity.
Bottom 3, Castillo takes a fastball right down the middle from Jason Bergman. Luis bounced out, a high hopper to Felipe Lopez first time. Tony Batista saved the day with a backhand pick in the dirt. That's how Bergman got his first out of the game after the Reyes leadoff homer, his 10th career. Zimmerman, what a great charge. You know what? He made that play before the ball was ever bunted. He was really on the move and right in the kitchen of the hitter right there.
The only way you make that play, because Castillo doesn't square around that quickly. But once he sees the slightest movement, watch the, see, he's on the move. And good enough to get that second hop. The one that didn't skid, had to throw a little bit off balance, but he's going to end up on the first base side of the mound with that good play.
There was a moment when Ryan was so far there, I thought he might just run after the batter and tag it. He was really arranging. Great instincts by Ryan Zimmerman. And the less knowledgeable fans in the ballpark booing a breaking ball that brushed back David Wright.
Yeah, curveball 72, 74 miles an hour, and you're up by 2. The last thing you want to do is hit somebody. We're keeping an eye on Jason Bergman's front arm, because sometimes the lead arm will just kind of flop. And one of the pitching theories is you use the front top, you use your left elbow and your glove hand as a gun sight, and the right arm will follow over it. So he's been working on trying to keep that involved in it and not flop down to the side, because when it just flops to the side, the right arm's got to drop. And that's not his natural delivery. Watch and see now if he keeps it up when he comes through the delivery. So he started it up, and then it just kind of flops just a little bit. And when he gets any sort of action with the left elbow to get it up a little bit, then he has a little tilt added into it, and he gets up on top of the ball a lot easier. That's a good one there.
Yeah, the other thing we saw in his most recent start, he was throwing so free and easy. I don't think we saw him overthrow the ball all night long.
Well, you're right. Ball was jumping out of his hand.
3-2 to David Wright with Beltran on deck, and a pop up into right field. Austin Kearns should be calling it. Well, he'll let Ronnie Bellard go ahead. 2 outs against 2 good hitters, and there's one more waiting here in the bottom of the 3rd.
That's called multitasking, what you saw Ronnie Bellard doing. Eating sunflower seeds and catching pop-up.
He has some of the most interesting mannerisms on a ball player I've ever seen.
Well, you know what he looks like? He looks like a little kid playing the game.
Yeah.
Like you see these. There was a movie that was out, and I can't remember the name of it, where the kids are playing in the backyard and they hit the ball over in the
Sandlot, wasn't it?
Sandlot.
Yeah.
He looks like a couple of the kids that were playing in Sandlot, just having fun.
Felipe Lopez has the angle on this one.
Call him off and take it.
And a good bottom of the 3rd for Jason Bergman, leading 5-2.
The New York Mets present.
They don't have Times Square in Philadelphia, but they do have Ryan Howard, who just hit a 2-run homer. And the Phillies are right back at it with the Braves. Bottom of the 4th, 4-3 down there. What a night. Now see, this is September board watching at its best right here.
It is.
Now, tonight everybody's playing. Last night was a limited schedule.
But these games, they're like watching a heavyweight boxing match. They're not where 2 guys are just pounding on each other. They're not. Nobody's counter punching and dodging and dancing. They're just pounding on each other.
Taking blows and handing them out. Maxwell bounced out to the shortstop first time. He drives that ball to left. Did he get it? Sure he did. His 2nd major league home run. Mom loves it. Sisters love it. And the Nationals are on top 6-2. And Tom Glavine's given up 3 home runs tonight.
After giving up only 20 in his first 32. And Glavine doesn't give up many home runs to the Nationals. I can't remember one he's given up in the last couple of years. He waited on that. That was a changeup that stayed inside. Mom said, remember what Mom said? Foul away the ones that you're swinging and missing, and then hit the ones that are there.
Well, everybody has to have a hitting dad, and that's what Lenny Harris is to all these guys. So Maxwell now in 12 major league games, 5 out of 17 with 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. That's a great start to a career. He's got a lively bat. Look at Bergman line one up the middle hard.
I never thought, well, I guess nobody's sacred. There's no such thing as the fair-haired child when you're struggling, but they're booing Tom Glavine.
Yeah, and sometimes in New York, it's hard to tell whether they're booing the player or the event. Now, in Philadelphia, we know they're booing the player.
Yes.
They make no bones about it. I think Mets fans boo when something goes wrong, and sometimes it's directed at a player, and sometimes it's not. Rick Peterson is the pitching coach, and out he comes.
I asked somebody from Philadelphia. Remember, we had a bunch of folks come in when Philadelphia was at RFK, and I was kidding with them, and I said, "You guys really boo the Easter Bunny?" He said, "If he drops the egg," which is what the Mets have done a number of times a year. They've been dropping the egg.
Carlos Muñiz. Now he snuck up on us. He was not in the bullpen. We'll look him up and tell you all about him in case we see him.
Well, there's your 4-run lead back now, Jason. Take it easy on the base pass. You still got to get a bunch more out.
Felipe's had a couple of pretty good swings tonight. A base hit to right. Almost got a blooper to center, but Beltran robbed him. Nobody out here in the fourth. The Nationals with 8 hits off Tom Glavine already. He got jammed. Should be 2. Glavine perfectly gave it to Reyes. And a 1-6-3. He gave that to Reyes so that he had plenty of time to find the bag.
Remember, that's what we were talking about earlier. So many things that 41-year-old does to help himself win. A jammer squares himself up. The throw is on the shortstop side. Plenty of time to grab it, chest high, and make the throw over to first base.
Ronnie Bellard with 2 outs now. Bases empty.
You know, Tom Glavine's going to the Hall of Fame. John Mayne has had a good year. But if you're sitting here now and you're watching the Mets and they were headed tomorrow in the postseason, who do they have that you feel like could shut down a good offense? And that's what that first round is about, isn't it?
It is. It's a short series.
Offense goes down.
You know, El Duque, when he's healthy, you know, he's got the great postseason experience, but he's not right. Pedro's not right now. Tom Glavine getting lit up. John Mayne might be their best hope. Ronnie Bellard hits one down the line, and Alou is over near the line to grab it. And the Nats are gone in the fourth. The long ball show continues. A couple of homers last night and 3 more tonight. And that's number 2 in what we hope is a long, family-oriented career for J-Max.
A 4-run lead again for the Nationals, bottom of the fourth. Our Toyota leaderboard was talking about current hit streaks. And the longest is Moises Alou. It was a swinging bunt, but it was a hit leading off the second. He would score 29 in a row. Some of the other gentlemen who have put them together, including Ryan Zimmerman with a dozen.
Those are the current streaks. Second longest streak in baseball this year, 26 games, by Cleveland's Casey Blake, May 20th to June 17th. It was right after that when we saw that Cleveland ball club. Right after we'd seen the Tigers and
regretted it.
I think we already had the Tigers in the World Series after that series.
Oh.
They had at RFK. Goodness gracious, what happened to them?
They drew up, in my mind, when we saw them, they drew a bye till October 21st.
Yeah. Look at Alou. 2 for 2. And now during his hitting streak, he has 44 hits.
First baseman, Carlos Delgado.
He took a call strike 1 on a slider that was up and repeated the same pitch. Didn't get it down and away. When he's hitting inside pitching, he starts bent over, then he just straightens up and swings.
He's now hitting .393 during his hitting streak. And here's Carlos Delgado.
You were looking in the dugout at a pretty good switch hitter that played here. His name's Howard Johnson.
He's done a good job with these Mets hitters. Howard Johnson was a guy who could run, hit for power. Had one of the great lines ever. After the '85 Mets lost the division to St. Louis, Doc Gooden went 24-4 that year. They were undressing in the clubhouse. He said, "Hey, Doc, if you hadn't lost those 4 games, we would have won this thing." Runner going, swinging a foul. But the gallows humor of baseball knows no limits. Doc Gooden 24-4. I had one of his teammates that year tell me they thought he was going to throw a shutout or a no-hitter every time he took the mound. And they're convinced they had a much better team than the St. Louis team that went to the World Series and lost to Kansas City. They've had some excitement around here. Of course, '86 wasn't too bad here. There's Hojo, number 20. Delgado struck out first time. Breaking ball, and Bergman has his number so far.
That's the best breaking ball of the night. Might want to work that one in a little bit more. That's got some bite on it. Yeah, that's a curveball. Wow. Straight downer. And you see what Delgado did? He saw it up high recognized it was high, gave up on it. That's when that late bite got it in the strike zone.
Loduca walked first time up. In a situation just like this, it was 1-on-1 out. That set up the Sean Green amazing at bat and an RBI single. Bergman tries the curveball again, misses inside.
That time the upper part of his body came open and he never got up and over, never got it behind that ball, that curveball.
Phillies have scored again. Jason Worth, his 8th homer of the year. And they blasted their way back even with the Braves, who are now batting 4-4, top of the 5th. No other changes. Marlins still lead the Cubs in the 5th down in Florida 4-0. Milwaukee got 3 in the bottom of the 1st at home against St. Louis. That ball will be hooked foul. So the Brewers hoping the Marlins can take care of business, and then if Milwaukee wins their game, they'll be 2 games out. The Cubs' magic number is down to 4. Arizona's is down to 4 after the Padres lost their 4th in a row last night. But they still trail 2-1 in the 5th inning at Pittsburgh. Padres at San Francisco again tonight. Brett Tomko for the Pods and Matt Cain for the Giants. And there are a couple of races, including the wild card, that could go right down to Sunday afternoon. Loduca gets jammed. Now it's Bergman's chance to throw a shortstop double play ball, and a 1-6-3. Well done. On to the top of the 5th with Zimmerman, Kearns, and Pe1a, and Bergman. The Nats lead by 4.
It's 6-2. And didn't our remaining games schedule get short all of a sudden? We wrap it up here tomorrow on MASN, and then Friday and Sunday out of Philadelphia on MASN 2. Remember the Saturday game? It's a Fox game starting about 4. So we invite you to tune in Charlie and Dave on the radio broadcast and keep up with your Nationals there.
Tom Glavine, top of the 5th. Zimmerman, Kearns, and Pe1a. A very rare night indeed when the Nats have hit 3 home runs, much less against this pitcher. By the way, the Nationals have now hit 122 home runs on the year. Zimmerman, he was looking hitterish, but he took that first pitch. I thought he was going to let it fly right there.
He's up to 400 against Glavine. 20 at bats, 8 hits.
Man. He can take his grandkids to Cooperstown about 40 years from now and tell them all about it. See that guy? I hit 400 on him.
You know what?
And then his plaque will probably be down the way a little bit.
That's what I was going to say. He may be there visiting his own plaque.
Yeah, 0-2. That was close.
Interesting guy's response when you ask him, would you like to go to the Hall of Fame? Some guys, and most, unfortunately, would say, well, you know, if I'm lucky and gee whiz, aw shucks. I'd like 25 guys who would go, you're darn right I want to go there.
Yeah. And some guys would say, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, don't even make me think of it.
Yeah, don't bring it up.
Here comes Kearns, and as I mentioned earlier, he's homered in back-to-back games for the first time this year. But before he and Batista went deep in the first inning tonight, Tom Glavine had not allowed a homer to a National since April 22nd of 05 when Christian Guzman got him. So he had pitched nearly 59 innings over 9 starts against the Nats between home runs, spanning 2.5 years. There's that home run hitter. Kearns 1 for 2 tonight. 16 homers, 72 RBIs. Called out on strikes. His next time up.
Second and third time through. Glavine throwing more pitches inside to the right-hander.
Kearns has been opening up lately on pitches like that. Too bad he hooked that one. Probably 15 feet foul by the time it hits the mezzanine. Lenny Harris really has to like what he sees. In 13 innings here in New York, his offense has scored 19 runs on 19 hits.
There's that Kearns swing where getting the bat just a little bit further away from his head, loading up and cutting at it.
3-2. This is the Austin Kearns we knew we were getting from the Cincinnati Reds at the All-Star break last year. Tom Glavine's due to bat second in the bottom of the 5th. This will be interesting to see what really Randolph does in that situation. Their bullpen is busy. That would indicate that Tom Glavine is in his last inning. Kearns will pop it to center.
If you folks want to be a part of our broadcast, the email address is massonsports.com. Ask about the Nationals. Ask Bob and Don. Just log on to massonsports.com during our telecast. Send us a question about the Nationals. That way you're a part of the broadcast.
That was Manny's sign for call. He put his finger to his ear. That means call us on email. Bases empty, 2 outs, and here's Pe1a. Willie Moe, a base hit up the middle, a solid ground ball single last time. 30 strikeouts in 33 games, but 8 homers, 20 RBIs. That's what you'd get with Willie Moe Pe1a. When he makes contact, he is lethal.
And he's about 1 hit shy of getting the 300 mark. Done some of his best hitting against lefties. 324 for the year.
And I'm not sure the Willie Moe Pe1a in Boston or before even reaches that pitch. Lenny Harris has him extending and trying to hit the ball the opposite way. And that will also help you spoil some tough pitches when they throw it outside.
And if Glavine sees you leaning out trying to do that, before he would try to lead you further away. And that may be what he's going to do now.
High chopper hits near the plate. Reyes has to hurry. Willie Moe is safe. And he has a second consecutive hit. Here comes Willie Randolph to argue with John Hirschbeck.
The way everything's going, you know he's got to argue that. Frustration. When you pretty much had it your way all year long and then it's getting tight at the end, frustrations show themselves in many, many ways. It's about as well as you can make that play. A high chopper that he beat into the ground. I don't think there's anything Reyes could have done to make this play any better. You got to gamble, and now throws hard on the run.
That last one looked like a tie. It was really more of a discussion than an argument. John Hirschbeck did very little speaking.
Remember in junior high school, tie went to the runner, didn't it?
One ball and 1 strike. Tony Batista 1 for 2 with a homer, his second of the year, 221st of his career. And a chopper to short for Reyes. The Nets are gone in the top of the 5th, but halfway through the game, they're giving the Mets fits again tonight, leading 6-2.
The Nationals with a comfortable 6-2 lead over the New York Mets. Now, Jason Bergman is making his 20th start of the season, and he admits it's different facing lineups like the Mets and Phillies.
I think when you play difficult teams like the Phillies and the Mets, and not taking anything away from the other teams, but there's some pretty good players in these lineups, and you don't want to just groove one down there, but sometimes that's what you have to do. You kind of have to give them a pitch that maybe it's a tough pitch for them to handle, where they have to hit it, or maybe they put a bad swing on it, thinking it was a different pitch.
Now, this is the first time that Jason has pitched on his birthday. As Bob mentioned, he turned 26 today, and there are more birthdays later this week. John Roush turns 29 on Thursday, and Ryan Zimmerman, 23 on Friday.
Wow, what a bunch of old men we've got in this ball club. Look at Sean Green, hit after hit. Thank you, Debbie. And Jason Bergman in his 5th inning of work. This is the 4th time in 5 innings the Mets have had their leadoff man aboard, and Tom Glavine is done for the night as Ruben Gotay will bat for him.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for the Mets.
So Tom Glavine goes 5 innings, gives the Nationals 6 earned runs on 9 hits. He walked 1, and that runner, Zimmerman, in the 1st inning did score, and he struck out 4. 3 home runs and a double play ball. That is not a Tom Glavine night.
No, but it kind of follows on the heels of what has been happening with their starting pitching.
Mets have 5 hits. Fastball away, 2-1. You've got to get at least 1 out from the 8 and 9 hitters here, because it's Reyes and his buddies right behind him. And a 6-2 game could get tight in a hurry. Manny knows it. He wants it out here in the worst way. That's to the gap in right center. Sean Green heading for 3rd. It's cut off by Maxwell. Sean Green will score. It's a 6-3 game. And a big pinch hit for Ruben Gotay.
Let's see where this pitch is. Down and right over the middle. I think he wanted to go down and away to try to get a grounder, but that was right where he could pull it. And that's probably going to get some people moving in the bullpen. I really think this week was so much depending, so much hinging for the Mets and the Phillies, that you're going to see starters on a short leash here, maybe even shorter for Maniacta.
Well, and then we've seen, Don, from the contending teams, it doesn't matter who they are either.
Very true.
Here's Reyes. 1 for 2 with a homer, his 10th career leadoff homer in the bottom of the 1st. I'm sure they've noticed this in Philadelphia, where they're scoreboard watching. It's now a 6-3 Washington lead. And here comes Randy St. Clair. He was out of the dugout almost before that pitch was caught.
It's almost like he recognized the delivery and didn't care where the pitch was or what the pitch did. He saw something in the delivery that had him springing out of there. This is one of those few times when he isn't turning and talking to Brian Schneider. Schneider's listening, and this whole conversation is directed right to Jason Bergman.
Jason Bergman, 72 pitches. That's what you call a bullpen staring. Looks like Jonathan Albaladeo is up.
The call hasn't gone down there, but they know it's just around the corner.
Reyes will slice this ball out of play down the left field side. Nats had just scored 4, Don, when he came up for the first time.
And got a pitch upstairs, but near middle, and did he kill this pitch? Off of the scoreboard. Way out there.
Surprising power.
He'll try to pull the ball up and away. You can get him out. You'll get flies to left and flies to center, but if you get it toward the middle. See, he'll go upstairs after that pitch.
That ball might have been tailing out of the strike zone. Instead of 3-1, it's 2-2. Ruben Gotay, good speed at second base. He's there with nobody out. That's a fly ball to center. This will be interesting. He shouldn't be running, and he's not. Maxwell hits the cutoff man perfectly. That's a great throw because it's on a fly to Felipe. It would have been a one-hopper to Zimmerman.
And some Jose Cardinal work showing off for you. He got himself in a good throwing position and cut it loose right at the cutoff man.
Debbie Taylor, how about J. Max in center field?
Well, as you mentioned, Justin has been working on his routes and throws in the outfield, and he told me today that he has also been trying to improve his mechanics, that at times he drops down 3/4 and the coaches are working with him to get him to throw more over the top to give him more consistency with his throws.
Yeah, sidearm throws from the outfield don't go anywhere. The only guy I've seen who's been able to do that was Alfonso Soriano last year. He had such a strong arm. He would throw sidearm from left field and one-hop guys out at the plate, but I've never seen anybody else do it.
Very accurate rainbows, huh?
Amazing.
And only one catcher ever did that successfully either, Thurman Munson. He would throw sidearm.
1-1 strike to Luis Castillo, out on 2 grounders. 1 to Lopez, 1 to Zimmerman. That was a bunt. He's not bunting here. The Mets have 2 shots to make this a 6-4 game. There's one. Now Maxwell is shallow, so he hits Batista, the cutoff man, and it'll be 1st and 3rd for David Wright.
I think you got to get somebody throwing now.
Yeah, now the ball game's in doubt.
Brian Schneider out to let the infielders know what's going to happen. If Castillo takes off from first, bunch of options: throw back to the pitcher, throw short to the bag and let the shortstop cut it off, try to throw him out, or just come up and throw to third.
Arnie Munoz with Delgado in mind, Albaladeo with everybody else before him. Breaking ball, a beauty to David Wright.
I would like to see them in the bullpen going at it a little more enthusiastically.
With urgency?
With urgency is a better word.
David Wright has bounced into 11 double plays this year. That's not that many for a guy who plays every day and has 581 at bats.
This game is right now where one mistake, it can get away from you.
Nats lead 6-3, bottom 5. Out of play, right side, strike 2. Couple of minor changes on the scoreboard. The Brewers have added a run and they lead St. Louis 4-0. And the Red Sox have scored and lead Oakland in the 5th inning 2-1, with the Yankees 5-0 at Tampa Bay. Here in New York at Shea at 6-3 Washington. 1st and 3rd, 1 out, and a 1-2 pitch. Austin Kearns won't be able to reach this one. Jason Bergman 5-5 with a 4.30 ERA, making his 20th start. And a good hitter with runners in scoring position, takes a fastball outside.
He's kind of abandoned his breaking ball this inning. He hasn't really busted off a good one. You can get Wright to strike out. He'll do it a lot. That good curveball going down and away from him.
Zimmerman to second for one. Bellard! What a double play! 5-4-3, and that was 180 feet around the horn right there. You can't have two longer throws for a double play than this beauty right here. Watch it now.
Gotten a little bit snugger. It is 6-3 as we go to the 6th inning, and it's time for our Nissan in-game box. And tonight we're featuring Austin Kearns. He got the offense untracked. His second night of a 3-run homer came after a single to Lopez and a walk to Zimmerman in the 1st inning. Austin now with 72 RBIs and our Nissan in-game box.
And Don Sutton would need a half inning to go down to everything that's in that box score right now. And isn't that a nice welcome change?
Look at that.
This is a 26-year-old rookie, Carlos Muñiz, out of LA Harbor Junior College and Cal State Long Beach. He's 6'1", 190, and a Mets 13th round draft choice just 4 years ago.
Somebody Matt Chico can identify with. He spent some time at Double-A this year before he got promoted.
Never played higher than Single-A through last year. Was that Jason Bergman's last inning? Might have been. We'll wait and see. Even that ball was sharply hit, and Ryan Zimmerman was just fantastic the way he started that double play.
That's the best double play of the year because of the point you made. It was a 100-foot throw and a 90-foot throw, and both had to be done very quickly.
And right on target. The kid from Virginia helped out the kid from New Jersey right there. Top of the 6th now, Schneider, Maxwell, and the pitcher's spot. Ryan Schneider 1 for 2 with a base hit up the middle. And it looks like Manny will take a look at Maxwell against a right-handed pitcher. He could go to Ryan Church in the number 8 spot. Right now Maxwell awaits after homering last time up. 0-2 to Brian. Fastball up.
I'll tell you what they thought of him at Binghamton, which is their Double-A ball club. Not very often do you see a reliever get the MVP for the team.
Florida State League All-Star last year. A lot of time as a closer in the minor leagues. 31 saves at St. Lucie last year. So he probably pitched quite a bit to Jesus Flores.
And I'm sure they've already gotten a scouting report in the dugout from Jesus.
Jesus wants to see his buddies beat the brains out of his former teammate. Schneider with a ground ball to Delgado. Carlos came to the major leagues as a catcher. Handles himself pretty well around that bag for the first out here.
Well, Justin Maxwell was leading off the 4th inning on a Glavine changeup that, or a breaking ball that drifted in on him. Whole family's happy. Appreciated because the rookie gets around the bases and out of sight quickly. She got her hat on. See, now that's when things will turn around.
Can you imagine going into a slow home run trout and in a crowd of 40,000 hearing your mother telling you to get into the dugout?
Yep. Act like you've done it before and you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
I have a feeling she would too, don't you?
What a year for the Maxwell family. And how well it's worked out for them. All they got to do is hop in the car and go up to New York and Philadelphia to watch their son's first cup of coffee in the major leagues. And he's getting more than a cup of coffee here. He's getting a good look. 1-2. Fastball. David Wright goes up to get it. Great reaction play. Full extension, 2 outs.
And Maxwell with a good at bat hit it right on the button. Boy, he's got quick wrists.
I like the way he swings the bat. You know, he's now 5 out of 18, but he's made about 4 or 5 really hard outs. Bergman's still in there. 84 pitches, 53 strikes for Jason. Maniacta showing a lot of confidence in him to face Beltran, Alou, and Delgado. Well, maybe not all 3 of them in the 6th, unless he gets through the first 2 with nobody on base. If there's any sign of the tying run in the on-deck circle, it's bullpen time.
Yes, it will be. And Jason's got to try to build up the innings total a little bit. He's going to play some winter ball.
Fastball, 2-2. With another great swing, and he's 2 for 3. Lined one up the middle last time, extending the inning and getting Felipe Lopez to the plate here in the 6th.
And with this, the 2 hits tonight, he's jumped up above the Aguirre line. Hank Aguirre, arguably the worst hitting pitcher in the history of the game.
Really? I remember him.
Left-hander.
Tigers.
Yeah.
Some other ball clubs. Hank Aguirre.
That's usually 100. 100 and below is below the Aguirre line.
Yeah, Bergman with those 2 hits tonight is 5 out of 36, so he's hitting 139. That's pretty good. So Mendoza was a superstar compared to Aguirre.
And I'm sure there have been some others who have been a lot worse than that.
I don't remember Sandy Koufax being much of a hitter.
No, he didn't light up the board either.
When I was a kid, I remember a story about him in Sports Illustrated once, showing him pitching, but they had to sneak in one picture of him walking back to the dugout grimacing with a bat in his hands after still another strikeout. Felipe stays alive. Well, the Braves and the Phillies have traded runs. It's now 5-5, top of the 6th. Cubs have picked up a couple of runs, and their deficit in Florida now is not 4-0, it's 4-2. Craig Monroe has hit a home run for them. They picked him up from the Tigers. Craig Monroe was a name we were throwing around a year ago at the trading deadline. There was rumors going around that the Tigers were interested in Alfonso Soriano. The Nationals obviously would need an outfielder and some prospects in return. And Monroe was discussed quite a bit. Wow, that's a breaking ball way off the plate. Lopez gone, and we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Beltran, Alou, Delgado coming up. Flights to more places than ever before. Southwest is taking low fares farther. Visit southwest.com. And by SunTrust Bank.
A lot of activity at Times Square. A lot of activity here at Shea Stadium, and characters at both places, I guess. At least that group doesn't run the 3-card money. Time for us to check out page 2 of our Nissan in-game box featuring Sean Green, who has been really hitting well against Nationals pitching this year. He's 2 for 2 tonight, and by the way, that second hit was hit number 2,000 in the career of Sean Green.
Bergman against Beltran. I think it's real important for Jason here to take it one hitter at a time, think about his next pitch and nothing else, and get through this 6th inning. Maniacta showing a lot of confidence in him by letting him pitch against these 4, 5, 6 guys. Great breaking ball, low and inside, quickly 0-2.
Well, if he's going to be one of the leaders of the staff, there are going to be situations where he's going to have to work through, and maybe this is a part of the education.
I like it.
Work through this.
The old you got in this, get yourself out of it. 6-3 Nats, bottom 6. The Phillies got a Pat Burrell sac fly to lead 5-4, bottom of the 5th, top of the 6th now. And the Braves have hits from Andrew Jones and Matt Diaz to take a 6-5 lead. That's a good breaking ball by Jason on 1 and 2. Just missing. Ooh, just a little bit high.
Curveball even backed up on him, didn't it? You don't see many curveballs go work away from a left-hander.
All right, you're up by 3. Do you have to throw this guy a fastball here?
I think you do. Out away from him, challenge him.
He did. Center field. It'll stay in for Maxwell. That's how you use Shea Stadium.
The left fielder.
9 o'clock here in the big city. The Nationals got 4 in the first on a 3-run blast by Kearns, a Batista solo, another run on a Pe1a single in the 3rd, a Maxwell solo in the 4th, and leading 6-3 here, bottom of the 6th, 1 out, and that was a big one. Debbie Taylor reporting for us, keeping us up to date on all of our national news. Bob and Don in the booth, and Bergman facing, if not the best hitter on the planet, certainly the hottest. Moises Alou hitting .392 now during his 29-game hitting streak.
May have caught him guessing there. That was a fastball that he handles a lot of times, but got jammed on it. One of the few guys in baseball, you notice, does not wear a hitting glove.
That was a breaking ball that was hanging, and he turned on it, but it's 0-2. One and 2 to Alou.
Get out.
Might have broken his bat, and he did. I wonder if that's the bat he's had for his entire hitting streak. Kind of doubt it. He's probably had a couple of broken bat bloopers fall in.
What do you throw him now? He's been hitting everything, and he looks like he is just looking for pitches inside and doesn't care if he hits them foul. Spoils good ones and hits bad ones, doesn't he? You know what a lot of people forget, and I have to admit I have to be reminded of it too, is the 4 years he spent in Houston. He had some great years down there for him. A couple of them he was hurt, but a couple of the other years he was just killing the ball. Barring a drastic drop off in the rest of it, he's going to finish his career with a better than .300 career batting average.
2-2 to Alou. Really good pitch, but he fouls it away, and that's what guys who are hot do. They take great pitches and put them into the stands.
Just like Maxwell's mom told him to do, right? Justin Maxwell. You know, if you can't hit it, foul it away. Mom's a good hitting coach. What do you throw now? We haven't thrown him a changeup. Not sure he would throw one here, but I think that'd be a good pitch.
Oh, a breaking ball away, and Alou is gone. That ball started maybe just off the plate, and Alou thought it was a fastball.
One of the few sliders Jason Bergman has thrown tonight, and it was up, but it looked awfully good to Alou.
You know, and if you have a pitch like that, Don, that they think's a fastball, that means it broke real late.
And that's a great description of what that one did. It was up, but it was out away from him.
Here's Delgado. How about this? Bergman has 3 strikeouts tonight. Carlos Delgado twice, and Moises Alou. He has saved his best for some of the best. And the count's 1-1.
It's almost like he's gotten a second win in this inning, too. Everything looks better. The ball's coming out of his hands more freely. You know, he's throwing like a guy who may have been told this is going to be his last inning, so you figure, hey, I got nothing to lose. I'm going to grind it.
Yeah,
cut it loose.
Leave it all out there.
Leave it out there.
3-1. Right-handed Loduca next. Pitch count is at 104 with Jonathan Albaladeo throwing. Jammed in. And Atlanta now has taken an 8-5 lead at Philadelphia with a 4-run 6th inning. Edgar Renteria added a 2-run single in that frame. He walked him. Is that it? For Bergman, his 2nd walk of the night. And he looks like he's going to stay and watch him pitch to Paul Loduca, who cannot tie the game. I think if it's a 2-run game,
calm down.
Yeah,
kill the adrenaline a little.
If this is a 2-run game, Don, he's gone. But there's that 1 extra run to work with, right, and we can thank the double play ball for that.
You got it.
Back in the 5th.
He's letting him work himself in and out of some jams. This is a part of the character building process for a pitcher. You know, he's looking out there at a guy that he wants to be in the front end of the rotation next year. He said, all right, class is in session. Figure out how to get through it. You've thrown a lot of pitches. Need you to get out of this inning.
Two and 0. Munoz was getting ready earlier.
You said earlier on one of the trips by Randy St. Clair, it looked like before the ball reached the home plate area, he was on the move. Same thing there. And when that happens, he's got to be watching mechanics. I'll bet he can't tell you what the pitch did, but I'll bet you he can dissect every movement in the delivery that sent the pitch to the plate.
Arnie Munoz was up earlier for Delgado, but after Jason Bergman got the first 2 batters, Manny let him face Delgado, whom he walked, but he will not face Sean Green if this inning goes any farther. because that would be the tying run. Another hot hitter. And you would definitely want Munoz pitching to him. Now the Mets could counter there with Jeff Conine as we think ahead a bit. The way to stop all those wheels from turning is to get somebody out. But now Jason Bergman is within one pitch of being out of this game, and a chain of events that could lead to Conine getting rid of his sunflower seeds and picking up a bat.
Already starting to stretch.
High strike, 3-1. He knows what's going on. He's thinking right with us.
Grit your teeth, dig down deep, and make a pitch.
Oops.
Manny's going to wait till the announce.
The right fielder, Sean Green.
5 2/3 it'll be for Bergman tonight. He will fall short of a quality start. He will walk 3, strike out 3, give up a home run, get a couple of big double play balls. And all in all, not a bad night. Could have been better, but he's got his team in a chance to win.
Jason Bergman has pitched into the 6th inning. The lead is a tenuous one now with a couple of base runners on. But he does leave with the lead. Let's go to our Morgan Franklin Pitbull play. Let me set the scene for you. Green single, go tied doubles. Then there are runners at the corners, and the hitter is Wright, who smokes one to third base along the line. You're seeing what happened. Maybe the best double play of the. No, it's got to rank right there with the Ronnie Bellard sidearm backhand glove flip. But this was a terrific around the horn. That was around the horn with a bump added in. A 5-4-3 double play. That's our Morgan Franklin Pe1a plays right now.
And this is how much confidence Willie Randolph has in Sean Green. Jeff Conine has made an appearance, but he's on deck to hit for the pitcher if Green can keep this inning alive. Arnie Munoz will make his, are you kidding me, 12th appearance already? How about that?
Seems like he warmed up every day for a week there.
He's pitching every other day. Sean Green, 2 singles up the middle, 1 for an RBI back in the 2nd. And a lefty-lefty matchup with Conine on deck for the pitcher. Beauty, a breaking ball, strike 1.
I'm surprised Sean Green doesn't get hit with more pitches. It's almost like he 2 steps. Takes a couple of moves to get himself in toward the plate when he's ready to swing. That's how he goes into the pitches. Front foot strides toward the center of the diamond, then the back foot follows. But lefty or righty, there's a look at Conine. Lefty or righty, I can tell you, Arnie, Sean Green can hang the breaking balls, so he's going to have to bust it off.
One hopper. There's a force at third, and that's where Lopez goes. Well done. Why turn and throw somewhere else when the play's right in front of you, and the Nats are out of the inning?
Boy, those first inning runs loom large now, don't they? 6-3 heading to the 7th inning. And folks, the Washington Nationals really want to thank all you fans out there for showing your support, coming out by the thousands to pledge your allegiance and getting on board with your 2008 season tickets. You have the greatest chance to get the best ones that are left with the grand opening of the Nationals Park just around the corner, and it'll get here in a hurry. So tickets are going fast. 202-675-6287 or visit nationals.com. Make the play for this once-in-a-generation opportunity.
Mets have a new ballpark on the way the year after. Citi Field. A new Yankee Stadium will open up in 2009. And I think this ballpark will continue. You know, we talked about how well the ball carried last night. I think as that structure continues to go up just beyond left and center field, that the ball will continue to carry well here and start carrying better, because it really will cut down on any wind currents coming into this place. We saw that happen in Cincinnati years ago when they literally sawed off part of Synergy Field to build the Great American Ballpark. They just kind of took a hacksaw and cut off.
Start building up against it.
Most of the outfield. And that'll happen here. Sure some of the hitters will like it. Ronnie Bellard, Zimmerman, and Kearns to follow here in the 7th. So the Munoz-Muniz pitching matchup continues. Carlos Javier Munoz. 2-1 to Ronnie. Ooh, he was all over a fastball. Bellard 0 for 3 tonight. Pittsburgh's opened up a 5-1 lead over Arizona. Boy, is there a lot of spoiling going on tonight? The Cubs are batting in the top of the 9th already, trailing 4-2 at Florida.
That's what we said about a month ago, that if you've had a year where you're not finishing in the top 2, you can make your season.
Yeah.
By deciding who does win the division and by spoiling some people.
You know, Don, and everybody talks in September about, well, this team has an easier schedule than this team. It's easy to say that, but you don't know how pitching matchups are going to shape up and who's going to have a hot night and who's not. Baseball is the ultimate hard to predict sport on a daily basis, because the ball starts in the hands of the defense, and that's a little different than all the others.
And you don't know what kid call-up is going to be thrust into the action and try to make his way onto the roster for next year. You know, the teams contending are playing for this year. A lot of the teams playing against them are playing for the future.
And because there's 5 teams in the West, the Padres have to go out of the division to play this weekend in Milwaukee. So Ronnie Bellard's aboard, leading off the 7th. And the young man Muniz, making his major league debut, has now given up a hit, a strikeout, and a walk in his last 3 hitters. Ryan Zimmerman next. He's walked, doubled, and scored, 1 for 2. American League, the Yankees still lead 5-0 in Tampa Bay. The East is really the only race left. And the Red Sox lead in the 7th at home over Oakland 3-1. The Yankees are 2 games back. Detroit is still mathematically alive in the wild card race, but it's just about over for the Tigers. Here's the 0-1, and it's inside to Zimmerman.
Colorado's at LA. It looks like the Dodgers' fortunes have gone by the wayside, but don't count Colorado out of the wild card race.
They're a game out. How about that? They're 1 game behind San Diego with 8 consecutive wins. Nobody's talking about the Rockies.
I think they like it that way.
Yeah, and they throw Ubaldo Jimenez against Brad Penny at Dodger Stadium tonight. I love some of their young players. Zimmerman a check swing. Should be a swing. It is, says John Hirschbeck. 1-2.
Well, here's what we're talking about, Bob. Here's what the East looks like. Phillies 2 back pending the outcome of tonight.
Braves haven't given up.
3 out of the wild card, but the Braves have to run the table.
Yep. You know, they would gain a game on the Phillies tonight, but will they gain on Colorado and San Diego? That's the downside of being a wild card chaser. You have no control over anything other than your ball game. Good catch, buddy. One and 2 to Zimmerman. Top of the 7th underway. Game 2 of the series. And if the Nationals win tonight, they will face rookie Philip Humber tomorrow, who's only pitched 3 innings in the big leagues. Ronnie Bellard, a good jump. He's safe. As Zimmerman took a breaking ball away, and Ronnie Bellard swipes his 3rd base of the year without being caught.
Got the right pitch to run on, too. Got himself a good jump, but had a breaking ball that LaDuca had to reach way out far and whipped it down the second sidearm. See, he had to unload in such a hurry, he never got up on top of the ball.
Pop-up slide.
Feet first.
Now Zimmerman can get his 90th RBI with a base hit. And Ryan's seeing the ball well here tonight. This is interesting, though. The Mets are in this game. This is the plight of their bullpen. They're going with a pitcher making his major league debut, and he might be pitching 2 innings in the middle of a crucial ball game. That's a walk. Like a backup breaking ball. 2 walks, around to steal. First and second, nobody out, and Austin Kearns coming in.
What do you think the Mets would give right now for the Nationals bullpen? A nice price.
Yeah.
The right fielder,
Every
Austin
team
Kearns.
has something that bugs them. The Cubs have a questionable closing situation in their ball club. The Phillies pitching. The Braves pitching. Their bullpen this year. The Mets bullpen. And their starters, a host of injuries. There are no perfect ball clubs out there, are there? Even the Red Sox, with all their pitching, they've had bullpen issues lately with Gagne and Papelbon.
Well, we came out of the All-Star break. I remember our talking about that, and I remember you saying there is no complete team in the National League.
Yeah. On paper, I think the Mets would be if their pitchers were all healthy.
Jorge Sosa, there's a good arm right there.
Oh, and 2. Kearns has to protect here. He'll take it inside with Muniz running that fastball. Austin 1 for 3 tonight. The big blow of the game, a 3-run first inning homer that put the Nats on top early. First of 3 long balls tonight, and the Nationals have hit 5 home runs in this series. The Mets about the only team on the planet they've been out homering this year. Close enough to be hacking. Forgot to tell you folks earlier that in that Milwaukee game, Prince Fielder hit his 49th homer of the year. Alex Rodriguez has 53 with his grand slam tonight. I wonder where he thought Ronnie Bellard was going.
I don't know. I guess he figures he stole second. I better worry about him.
Rookie pitcher under stress here, and a 1-2 to Kearns. He reaches out and just fouls it away. Interesting dynamic here. Veteran hitter just lying in wait for a rookie pitcher to make a mistake.
And he hasn't missed a mistake in about a week either, has Austin Kearns.
Breaking ball, that's hit well, and to his left goes Sean Green, and because he went halfway, Ronnie Bellard back. So
He got
Austin Kearns almost did.
Yep, and he got a mistake and he hit it hard. He was right on that breaking ball.
The left fielder,
Cubs are
Pe1a.
down to their final out in Florida, 1 on 1 out, trailing 4-2 top of the ninth. Willie Randolph with a double switch coming. They will switch right fielders and put Carlos Gomez out there.
6'2", 8'7".
Carlos Gomez will bat ninth on the double switch and play right field. And I think what really Willie Randolph is doing here, saving Jeff Conine for just a little bit later. Why burn him as a leadoff hitter when he might be able to bat later with men on base? So here's Sosa, so their pitcher batting 7th. Here's a power matchup for you, Sosa and Willie Mo Pe1a. Willie Mo 2 for 3 with an RBI, his 20th. Little tapper to third, David Wright charging. He'll go right to the bag. He knew he couldn't get a double play. So why not get the lead runner?
First baseman Tony Batista.
Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Remember Batista in the first inning? After Pe1a had made an out, Glavine left one in the zone where he could handle it, and Batista hammered it over to the left field fence. And tonight he owns our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast.
And I guess these days there's no problem with freedom of expression when it comes to shoes.
You like those, huh?
There used to be a day when everybody had to at least have the same color.
Those are grandma's spats. Well, the pants legs now go down so far you can't tell what color the shoes are anyway, but rather NBA-like.
I think those are similar to David Wright's. He's had a spats look going over there at third base for a while too. We just Don and I thought we'd talk a little fashion for you here in a long top of the 7th. David's not quite as obvious as Sosa's. And Batista spins one to Delgado. Nobody's covering second or first. 2 bags left open by the Mets there. Everybody's safe. You know, and it would be almost impossible to give Carlos Delgado an error there. He did bobble, but he had no one to throw to.
He went a long way to get that ball, maybe further than he should have. Off the end of the bat, a squirter. He was playing way off the line.
Schneider.
Knocked it down, grabbed it, looked to second. Nobody's there. Looked to first. Sosa's in the neighborhood, but now he's having to tap dance to try to find the bag.
Yeah, you know, he just stopped and started ball watching. They have posted a hit. I don't think the official scorer knows what else to call it. You could call it a fielder's choice, but usually on a fielder's choice, an out is registered.
2 walks and a play that should have been made. This is what has been happening to the Mets in the last week or so.
And Schneider could make this a disastrous inning for them. The Nats by 3. And a chance to maybe put this game away. There it is, left center. 1 run is in. Pe1a around third. It's now an 8-3 game. It is September, and when you make a mistake, it will kill you.
And there have been 3 in this inning, 2 walks and a play that should have been made. And that's what the Nationals have been doing to the Mets in the last 2 or 3 series, is making them pay for those mistakes. A good clutch hit by Brian Schneider. Knows he's going to get stuff running away from him. That's that look down, look out away, and drive it that way swing.
Both of those runs charged to the rookie pitcher Muñiz. Great swing by Schneider, and Brian Schneider now has 53 RBIs. He has 7 RBIs in his last 8 games. So here's Maxwell, who's contributed tonight. He was robbed of a hit by David Wright last time up. Washington by 5 after winning last night by 9. So in 16 innings at Shea Stadium, the Nationals have scored 21 runs on 23 hits. Counts even.
Sosa's stuff is so much better when he keeps his arm angle up. Watch him sometimes. He'll start drifting down lower. His slider flattens out and he loses some of the velocity on his fastball.
Ooh, that was a breaking ball, kind of sitting there inner half, wasn't it?
Got away with one.
Mom just told some of her Neighbors, I would have been ripping on that one. They're having fun, the Maxwells. Why not make it a multi RBI night? He's already had one this year with a grand slam. 1-2. He went. But it is a heartbreaking inning for the Mets. They are booing their way into the 7th inning stretch, and the Nationals lead it 8-3, trying to take the first 2 games of this series. Loving it at participating McDonald's.
A little breathing room for the Nationals here in New York. They lead it 8-3 in 7th inning stretch time at Shea Stadium. Our telecast is presented by authority. It's copyrighted, presented by the authority of the Washington Nationals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals.
I hear the horn, but I don't hear a whole lot of folks saying charge. The Nats have taken some of the air out of this crowd at Shea Stadium tonight. Carlos Gomez leads off. Arnie Munoz still in the game. And a fastball high in the zone, strike 1.
It's also sent a lot of folks to the subway station out behind the right field foul pole.
The 7 train about to get rather crowded. One hopper, Zimmerman. No problem. Throwing much better these days. He's winging it over there. That was not a changeup. That was a fastball he threw over to Tony Batista.
The shortstop.
All right. I know the Don Sutton out countdown is now official. Once you get to the final 9. Now 8.
Start crossing them off.
Top of the order, Reyes. In each game of this series, he's been on base in the first inning, but never thereafter. 0 for 4 with a first inning walk and a caught stealing last night. 1 for 3 with a first inning home run tonight. By the way, Chase Utley hit a homer in Philly, but they are still trailing 8-6 to the Braves, who are batting in the top of the 8th. Chase Utley, that was his 22nd home run. So they've had a real shootout there. Pittsburgh still leads Arizona 5-2. D-backs batting top of the 8th. Cubs have lost their game at Florida 4-2. And Milwaukee, bottom 5, leads St. Louis 4-1. The other games involving contenders later: Rockies at LA, Padres at San Fran. Phillies had a chance to take over first place in the wild card race by themselves for a couple of hours. That game far from over, though. Against that offense, you still have to get 6 outs. I'm sure Bobby Cox is thinking that right now.
And 2 is not a lot of breathing room, and the Atlanta Braves bullpen has been somewhat inconsistent this year too.
And you know, Don, there is no guarantee at all that the Mets are a lock for this division. The way things are going for them, the Phillies, if they could come back and win tonight and the Nats hold on, you'd be talking about a 1-game difference. You could go from division winner to wild card contender to going home in a hurry.
In a 5-day period.
Yeah. That would be an utter disaster here.
And you know the Cardinals are going to be ticked off on Thursday and want some revenge for having to come back here and play that single game.
Yeah, make-up game Thursday night. And maybe one of the reasons why the Nats are seeing a rookie pitcher tomorrow, Philip Humber, and not the likes of Pedro. And this ball will fall out in the center field for a base hit. Reyes on. You would think down by 5, that would cut down his running capability. Right now, the Nats just need to get outs. And if he steals second, so what?
That's only the 14th hit he's gotten off the Nationals this year, and he's hitting well under 200. So they've done a job on it.
That's amazing. Castillo 1 for 3 with a base hit up the middle.
Got a 5-run lead, Arnie Munoz. Don't get a balk called on you. Trying to pick him off and using your best stuff to come to the plate with some strikes.
As far as we know, Jose Reyes cannot tie this game by running around the bases.
Unless there's some scoring changes we don't know about. Just keep him honest, but make the good pitches.
Ooh, a lower throw would have had him. And you can tell Reyes is looking at Ricky Henderson saying, how about that move?
Where'd that come from?
That was a runner picked off, but the throw was too high.
That's his good move, but that was the one he stepped over there. He almost got him. That's the shortest lead you'll see Reyes take.
Wow.
It's even shorter now.
Now throws some strikes. We talked about this with Munoz earlier. He hasn't been called for a balk yet. I mean, we've considered every move of his good move when he gives it to us. Borderline balk, but no umpire. Of course, we haven't seen Bob Davidson, but no umpire has rung him up. There's a strike.
Bob may be watching at home now and calling him.
Licking his chops. I'm going to get him. But he almost had Reyes.
And Reyes had about a 4-foot lead.
Not much more now. Arnie keeps missing away. He probably will not pitch against David Wright anyway, but you just really don't want him to walk a guy like this with no power. That's not good. It is way too early in this game for that to be happening.
Third baseman, David Wright.
Danny Acta, with Jonathan Albaladeo available, is not going to let Arnie Munoz pitch to David Wright. You can't. So it'll be 2/3 of an inning for Arnie, who got that out.
8-3 the score. 1 out, 2 on. Bottom of the 7th inning. We thought we'd take a look on our LoJack caught stealing feature of some of the highest stolen base percentages. You got to have 20 attempts, and you got to go back 19 years before, since Kevin McReynolds was 21 for 21. Paul Molitor 13 years ago, but Carlos Beltran, remember in 2001, 31 out of 32. Ditto for Brady Anderson a few years ago, and Chris Duffy. So some high success ratios for that fivesome. I want to remind you to enter the LoJack caught stealing sweepstakes, a chance to enter, maybe go to spring training next year and some other exciting prizes. And the way to enter is to go to nationals.com/LoJack. It's the only stolen vehicle recovery system that is operated by the police.
6 hits in almost 11 innings. Good control numbers. How about the 11 strikeouts and 2 walks? Interesting matchup here. Albaladeo and David Wright. 1 out, 2 on. Nationals lead by 5. Bottom 7.
Right now he'd settle for a ground ball, not a hanging slider. Pat Corrales was talking to him the other day. He's given up a couple of hits on like 2-0 slider, 1-0 sliders where you just throw it for a strike. Pat was saying, you know, in Double-A they'll take those. Up here, they don't take a whole lot of those. Pat's got a lot of wisdom on a lot of things.
This kid's only 24 years of age. David Wright hit into that spectacular 5-4-3 double play last time. Breaking ball low and away. Milwaukee now stretching its lead out to 7-1. Starting to look like they'll be 2 games behind the Cubs at the end of the night. Jonathan with a 2-1 here. That's a borderline strike that had Wright buckling a bit.
The look on David Wright's face tells you he doesn't think it was a strike either. I think he might could call it inside. You couldn't call it for high.
Schneider framed it well. Now it's 2-2. That also plants the seed with the hitter. If it's close, he better be swinging. Bouncer Felipe to the bag, and they get David Wright on another double play. We go to the top of the 8th. Big pitches by the rookie, and the Nats defense helping out as well.
Presented by Chrysler Jeep and Dodge and hosted by Byron Kerr and Ray Dyke. We get complete. Underline the word complete pregame analysis by those dudes. Maximum access to the Nationals all the time on Maxwell.
Aaron Seeley for the Mets here in the 8th. Longtime American leaguer. D'Angelo Jimenez bats for Albaladeo, who came in to do an outstanding job and got that double play. The Nats have turned 3 double plays tonight.
Hitting over 400 this month to get that batting average up to 242.
Remarkable second half of the season for D'Angelo. He takes a fastball and just strokes it out into right center. How well are these veteran guys, Jimenez, Fick, and Batista, swinging the bat right now? All of them.
They're all having quality at bats too. When's the last time you saw one take a falling down, awkward, bad swing? Sinking fastball that went down and away, stays closed and right on it. And I think for both Fick and for Jimenez, what has helped is getting some more playing time and get some at bats in a game more than once or twice a week, and getting able to implement some of what Lenny Harris has been teaching.
And Felipe 1 for 4. By the way, with that hit, the Nationals are 3 for 4 in the number 9 hole tonight. 2 of those hits by Jason Bergman. Felipe with a line drive into right center. Jimenez will easily go to third. And the hits keep on coming for Washington. An amazing offensive display here for 2 nights. That'll bring in Bellard, Zimmerman to follow. Nobody out here in the 8th inning.
Doesn't matter if it's righty, lefty, hard thrower, slider baller, sinker baller. They're just having quality at bats just out of the reach of Castillo. Was there any doubt? Bill Welke. The mood is depressing here at Shea Stadium for the Mets faithful.
Boy, nothing is tougher for fans than being in a pennant race all year, and you're sitting there the last week of the season and you feel it slipping away. Now that's a great sign. If you don't believe, see ya. I've never seen that one before. That's good.
I wonder if she is working hard to convince herself, though, that she should continue to sit there. These fans here, there is no doubt what's going on, is there? What's going through their mind, their emotions and their feelings.
I think as long as I am ever involved in baseball, I will never forget the pictures of the Cub fans after they lost the LCS in 2003 to the Marlins. Total devastation. The World Series was in their grasp, and it got away. You know, you think about Donnie Moore back in the 80s with the Angels.
Yep, I witnessed that.
Breaking ball, Ronnie Bellard just took it inside. It doesn't matter if you've been around here for a while or if you're out late on a school night. Horrible feeling. But tomorrow it could totally change. That's baseball. One good thing about baseball is you don't have to wait a week to tear the game apart and get ready for another one. Tomorrow you're right back at it until it's Sunday and they tell you to stop playing. Breaking ball. Boy, Bellard was just waiting for that. Way out ahead of it. The Nats have out hit the Mets tonight 14-8.
Faces are long enough to eat popcorn out of a milk bottle.
Nobody out. Bellard. Ground ball to short. You know what? When you're up by 5, you'll take a double play to get a run. And the Nationals lead 9-3. Ronnie, of course, gets no RBI, but that's fine.
That might have been a white flag. Instead of cutting off that run, trying to keep it 8-3, that you might have just seen him run up the white flag there.
Ryan Zimmerman, 1 for 2. This is not what Willie Randolph and the Mets were thinking would happen when they came home to play a 4th place team. You know, they really scuffled. They didn't play well on the road at all. At one stretch they had what, 10 errors in 3 games, right. But they still had a 4-3 road trip.
And they thought a scrambling win that they got down in Florida would springboard them in to something good.
But you know what was the only problem with that? They gave up a 3-run lead in the 9th inning.
It's true.
Before they won that game.
You're right.
It almost takes the starch out of you even though you win. Two, low and away. Well, we're just going to get Nats fans ready for all this. There's going to be a September soon when you're going to be running this gamut of emotions. On the corner, Zimmerman gone. So are the Nats in the 8th. But they pick up a run on the double play ball after Jimenez and Lopez singled. It's Washington 9-3.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium, where the Nats have a 9-3 lead over the Mets. And the Washington Nationals would really like to thank all you Nats fans out there for showing your tremendous support and coming out by the thousands to pledge your allegiance by buying your 2008 season tickets at Washington's newest monument, Nationals Park. To have the greatest chance to score the best season tickets left with the grand opening of Nationals Park just around the corner, make sure to get in the action as soon as possible. Tickets are going fast. So get in on the excitement and get ready for a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Call 202-675-NATS or visit Nationals.com to make the play and buy your season tickets today.
Thanks, Debbie. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Column A against Beltran, Alou, and Delgado. Just past the 10 o'clock hour here in New York City. Where the Nationals, if they hold on, they will be 5-3 in this ballpark this year. The only way they can split the season series is by winning tonight and tomorrow. But I know this is better than they've done recent years here. And you know what? I had forgotten about this, but last year, not bad. The Nats won 5 out of 9 here last year. But the Mets totally dominated them at RFK, winning the season series 12-6. That Maniacta, all he did was come to RFK and help Willie Randolph win baseball games last year.
Coach very aggressively there, did he?
But I love the story that you told about him getting just torn apart by the dude sitting over by third base, and then a year later they all look up and they're on the same team.
They are.
Isn't that hilarious?
They own a store there in D.C. and he went down to see them.
It's too funny. Carlos Beltran is 0 for 3 tonight, and in this series he is 1 for 6 with a walk and a sacrifice fly.
We'll throw David Wright in there, being 0 for 4 tonight. Actually 0 for 4, but responsible for 6 outs.
Yeah. He was 3 for 5 last night, but didn't have any RBIs. I think the Mets have something to prove to people because they got in the LCS last year, and the St. Louis pitching just neutralized them like crazy. There's a curveball for a strikeout. I just did not see the same Mets in postseason last year offensively that we had seen all year long.
The left fielder, Moises Alou.
And we haven't seen him for the last 5 ball games against the Nationals either. We haven't seen that but once.
Moises Alou 2 for 3, extending his hitting streak to 29 games, longest in the major leagues this year. Memory serves me correctly, the only complete game Mike Bassick has ever pitched was in this ballpark for the 2002 Mets, when he went 3-2 in 11 starts, or rather 11 games, 9 starts. So Mike's got some good memories of this place from when he wore the blue and orange. Look at this breaking ball, and he's 3 for 4.
Well, the Mets have their work cut out for them. They play the Nationals one more time, and then we talked earlier about the Cardinals coming into town, and then they finish up against the Marlins here, who apparently are playing everybody tough now. The Phillies against the Braves, and how much are the Mets fans pulling for them? Well, we peeked out down there and saw a couple of hundred doing tomahawk chop just a few minutes ago, and then we'll wrap it up as we head in there over the weekend. So neither one of them with what I would consider an easy schedule.
Yeah, and everybody thought it was the Mets. The Marlins one weekend, then the Nationals, then the Marlins again.
Yep.
Hasn't turned out that way. Here's Delgado, 0 for 2 with a walk, 2 strikeouts, so no contact for the left-handed batter tonight. Arizona's made their game a little closer. Bottom of the 6th, bottom of the 8th at Pittsburgh, 6-5 Pirates over the D-backs. They're now in the 9th at Philadelphia, 10-6 Braves. And if the Braves get some help later tonight from the Giants, they'll be 2 out in the wild card race. It's funny how the wild card race has turned out over the years. There may be a ball club you just can't stand, and then you look up in the last 2 weeks and you're rooting like crazy for them.
Yeah. And there are always more contenders for that, for the wild card.
Yeah.
Because you involve all 3 divisions in that race.
1-1 to Delgado. This is interesting. In St. Petersburg, Florida, a 6-run 6th inning for the Devil Rays, and they lead the Yankees 6-5. Well, the Red Sox are taking care of their business at Fenway, leading Oakland 5-1 in the 8th. Yankees led 5-0 after A-Rod hit a grand slam early. Yankee starter in that game, oh my goodness, was Roger Clemens. I had forgotten that from 3 hours ago when we first mentioned it. Now we're getting a report, and we'll find out that Clemens may have been scratched in that game. And I'm looking at the pitching line for that ball game. Yeah, it was Igawa who started, but he pitched 5 innings and gave up no runs on 2 hits. The Yankee bullpen has had a collapse tonight.
Well, they had to go to it because his pitch count was probably up. And he had, after all, he had gone 5 innings.
That's a base hit that's going to become a double play. Look at that defensively. That is a 4-5-3 double play. And the Nationals are doing everything right, and nothing's going right for the New York Mets.
Here's a look at the line score. It's a 6-run lead as the Nationals come to bat in the 9th inning. 9-3 the score. About 3 hours ago. Do you remember this? Austin Kearns was second consecutive day a 3-run homer. It would score Lopez Zimmerman at himself. And guess what it did? It was a big thing, and it gave them the lead they haven't relinquished, and it makes him our PNC player of the game.
Top of the 9th, Kearns, Pe1a, Batista against Aaron Seeley, mopping up in his 2nd inning of work. Colomé might be able to go ahead and close the game tonight based on how Manny wants to play it here. That is what you call a breaking ball that dropped off the table.
Seeley's always had a good curveball.
Phillies now batting bottom of the 9th, down 10-6. Looks like they'll stay 2 back of the Mets. San Diego by a half game will be back in the wild card lead pending their outcome against the Giants. That game is at 10:15. Rockies and the Dodgers will be starting at 10:10. It should be a couple of pitches into their ball game.
Are the Giants sending their hard luck guy out there tonight?
Matt Cain?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And Austin Kearns is gone for the first out here in the 9th. 2nd consecutive strikeout by Seeley.
Been a good night for Willie Pe1a. Started off poorly, got struck out, but he's added a couple of singles on some good pitches.
Getting the bat on the ball, right?
Yep. 2 for 4. He had some good at bats against Tom Glavine, putting the ball in play.
Diamondbacks batting top of the 9th at Pittsburgh, trailing 6-5. And a breaking ball, the Willie Mo fouls. I would expect it'll take him another ball game or 2 to get some of his timing back after sitting out for several days. Is that tougher, Don, for a big guy like him as opposed to a contact line drive kind of hitter?
It's probably tougher on him, Bob, because remember, he's working on a change in philosophy and a change in hitting style, trying to hit the ball solidly the other way. So I think he was just getting comfortable in that. Now to kind of come back, it's almost like going back to 1st grade again.
That's a breaking ball that he takes the other way. Delgado, nicely done. He has to fire that to Seeley. 2 outs. Well done. Next up will be Tony Batista. We don't have a great angle on our
baseman Tony Batista
bullpen here, but I don't see any activity out there, so Colomé may be able to go ahead and finish it off. Isn't that a nice sight? A quiet bullpen in the 9th inning.
It's an unusual sight, and it is a nice sight.
You know, hopefully no suspense. You can all go to bed. You know, you're not all agitated when you put your head down on the pillow.
Chad Cordero can leave his cap bill up instead of having to pull it down low.
I talked to a lot of guys in our business, and you know, we don't play. I mean, we're not out there playing, but after a tough game or a tough loss, boy, you're agitated. It takes you a long time to settle down and close your eyes. Then you wake up in the morning, you look at the standings in the paper, and then, we're back at them tonight. No problem. And this is a very significant win if the Nats pull it off. It'll be 71, the same number as all of last year, with 4 games left to surpass it. If it wasn't for that darn losing streak a couple of weeks ago, the Nats would probably have been able to flirt with 75 wins. And they might still get 73 or 74. And a breaking ball low and away to Batista, 3-2 with 2 outs here in the 9th.
Well, I have some gentlemen that I play golf with, using that term gentlemen loosely, all winter long. And they were all dissing the Nats in the March, so I have a slight wager with each of them that the Nats would not lose more than 90 games.
How far did Tony hit that ball? Base of the wall. I thought he had another home run there for a moment.
Speaking of guys having good nights, he's had a good one.
3 for 5. So you'll be talking some smack when you go home.
Oh my gosh, yeah, one more win and I'll be chirping like Lenny Harris. That's a good swing. He's fun to watch in batting practice, Tony Batista is, because he takes such an easy, graceful swing, but he'll hit ball after ball into the bullpen. And I asked Pat Corrales, how does he generate that much power? He said bat speed. I said, but he doesn't put any effort into it. He said, no, but bat speed is good.
Not to be forgotten, the 2-out hit that Brian Schneider got 2 innings ago that took a 6-3 game and made it 8-3. And it's almost like the air came out of the Mets and the Nationals could finally exhale on this evening. It's over in Philadelphia. The Braves have done their job tonight, winning 10-6. So the Mets won't lose any ground to the Phillies. That's why some of the Mets fans are doing the tomahawk chop a moment ago. People who rag on Larry Jones, Chipper, unmercifully here. But again, here you are for a couple of nights, the Mets fans rooting for the Atlanta Braves.
And the cheer you hear in the background, scores just been put up on the scoreboard. All of a sudden, there's a big collection of Braves fans here in Shea Stadium.
Well, I bet you they start doing it again. There they go. This brings back really bad memories to me.
Of
the 96 LCS. Schneider up the middle. Look at that. He'll sneak one through, and now the Nationals lead 10-3. I was on the radio in St. Louis when the Cardinals took a 3-1 lead over the Braves. In our fifth game, in our game 4, our fans started doing the tomahawk chop. And I was on the radio pleading with them to sit down and stop. The Atlanta Braves won the next 3 games and went to the World Series. Don't make fun of anybody when they're down.
Till that final out.
Oh. Justin Maxwell 1 for 4 with a home run tonight. His second in the big leagues. How about the Nationals? 23 runs in this series. The hit count is up to 27 now in 2 games.
And you go down the lineup and you look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different spots in the lineup have scored runs, and 5 different spots have driven in runs.
We love equal opportunity. Ooh, that ball was hanging and Maxwell popped it up. Put away by Castillo. We're going to the bottom of the ninth. The Nats tack on another. It is 10-3 into the ninth.
The out count is now down to 3. 3 more outs. It'll be 2 wins in a row. 7 runs to play with. And when the game's over, don't go far, because coming up next is the Nats Extra postgame show presented by ChevyFirst.com. A complete postgame wrap-up and analysis delivered by Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight, who will do such a marvelous job of articulating the nuances of this slugfest and win tonight. So stick around. It'll be worth your while.
Yeah, when Ray gets on nuances, that really gets to me. Ryan Langerhans with some defense in left field for hopefully these last 3 outs. Jesus Colome against Paul Loduca. He will be followed by David Newhan in the number 8 spot. And that could be something that Willie Randolph would switch if Loduca gets aboard. We'll just wait and see how he decides to play it, but he doesn't have much pop from the left side. A bunch of line drive hitters. I think it's interesting that Langerhans is only the 2nd position player Maniacta has used out of his dugout tonight. The other, D'Angelo Jimenez, to pinch hit successfully in the 8th inning. That ball ripped to right, and Kearns has to play it on a hop. Paul Loduca, first hit of the night after a couple of walks, and David Newhan will bat.
Loduca is one guy in their lineup that doesn't know the meaning of the word surrender.
Yeah.
Number 17, David Newhan.
He plays the same, up or down, gives you his best shot.
David Newhan at 197, 71 games. Pardon me, 71 at bats, 53 games.
Had a couple of pretty good years for Baltimore. It's funny watching kids grow up and then making it to the big leagues. And I remember when he was born. Born in Fullerton, California. His father, Ross Newhan, a Hall of Fame baseball writer and a marvelous writer. He was born in 1973, right there in Southern California. It's an interesting trip through his college because he went to Cypress Junior College, which is right there in the LA area, and then he ended up going down to Georgia Tech to finish his and then went back to Pepperdine. So he bounced around in his college career.
One and two from Colome to Newhan, and a breaking ball that bounces. Pirates spoiled the night of the Diamondbacks, beating Arizona 6-5. And now if San Diego can break their 4-game losing streak tonight in San Francisco, and they're just underway, they didn't score in the first, they could be a game up in the wild card and just 2 back of Arizona. Milwaukee winning handily, so they will be 2 back of the Cubs as they're ahead 9-1 behind Jeff Suppan, who tormented these Mets last October. Well, there's a lot of tormenting going on in the National League tonight. Yankees, by the way, have come back to tie that game at Tampa Bay 6-6, top of the 8th. David Newhand strikes out as Colome whips it right by him. And Jesus Colome with his second strikeout.
The right fielder,
Colome with some good velocity and puts this one in a good spot. Missed his location, but he missed it perfectly. 18 inches across the plate and in on the hands of Newhand.
You can miss perfectly, huh?
Yep, you can there. Brian Schneider set up on the outside corner, and he threw it about 2 inches off the inside corner.
Carlos Gomez pinch hit in the 7th, stayed into play right field. Oakland's batting in the top of the 9th at Boston, trailing 7-2. So the Red Sox will win their 93rd game of the year. And those American League teams, even though they've clinched, they got plenty to play for. Boston 93 wins. Cleveland is trailing at Seattle, actually leading now at Seattle early. They have 92. It's the Angels trailing 3-1 at Texas in the 8th, and they have 92. So even when you clinch, that's huge.
Yeah, home field advantage hanging in the balance. And in the American League, the new experiment, do you want to play 7 days or you want to play in 8 days? So you can set your pitching pretty much the way you want it if you win more games than anybody else in the American League.
And you know why that's interesting? Because last year when the Mets played St. Louis in the LCS, you might remember there were a couple of rainouts. There were extra days in that series. The Mets had the pitching advantage with the matchups, and then because of the rainouts, Tony La Russa was able to mix and match a little better, and they ended up winning that series. So those days off in the middle of a playoff series can be absolutely crucial, and I think you're crazy if you don't take them.
Oh, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. John Maine is hot. You want to get him back out there as quickly as you can, or whomever you might have that's your guy who will get people out.
3-1. Colome to Gomez here, and he walks him.
Really shouldn't be this hard. You know, with a 7-run lead, the most challenging thing is to not have a heart attack before it's over. I mean, there's plenty of cushion, there's plenty of room.
We have him timed at an average of 32 seconds between pitches. Now let's just say you have a 5-pitch at bat, or let's say you go to a full count and then throw another pitch. That's 3 minutes for a batter, and that strangles the game of its flow and hurts your ball club standing around behind you. Now if you're throwing a strike every 30 pitches, that's a different story, and Manny may be out of patience here. Randy St. Clair's going to the mound, and Chris Schroeder is warming up, and Randy has a look like he looked to me like a parent who just asked his kid, what's going on with you?
Yeah, he walks out to talk to him, but he jogged out to deliver that message. The area he's looking for is 17 inches by 36 inches. With a 7-run lead and with the good of stuff as he has, you should fire it right down the middle and defy them. There it is. That little white thing, it's been there for years, and the object is to, with a lead like this, throw it over it.
And I haven't figured out the triangles that are missing, but we're talking somewhere just under 600 square inches.
That's a chunk of real estate, isn't it?
Yeah. And I know that we have an emailer right out there with his slide rule right now, figuring out the exact volume or area of home plate.
I think it'll be the gentleman who's behind the Nationals dugout, dances so well.
1-1 pitch. Backdoor breaking ball misses. You know, but Jesus Colome, he has too good of an arm and has too good of stuff for this to happen time after time after time.
Outstanding fastball that jumps. Good slider.
And Reyes takes that fastball to right field, and it leaves the ballpark. He has a 2-home run night, and now the score is 10-6.
Well, you get to a place where you got to throw a strike. A lot of guys get better. That's the pitch that he goes out around and pulls. He doesn't look very big. He doesn't look very strong, but he's hit a couple of bombs on pitches that have been up and out on the outer third of the plate.
But I'm thinking this new construction is affecting this ballpark. I don't think we've never seen the ball carry at night the way it has here the last 2 games.
I think you got to be right. I hadn't thought about that, but it obviously changes the wind currents and it stops any flow that's going to be coming in.
1 out. The Nats lead by 4. And Castillo takes ball 2. How's Maniacta? I might make the pitching change right now with a 2-0 count. Tony Batista is going to go over and give his buddy some encouragement here. Ryan Zimmerman scratching the back of his head, just put his ball cap back on. Felipe and Ronnie have their hands on their hips.
You got everybody standing around and scratching the dirt and doing gardening and trying to keep themselves pumped up.
And I know Ryan's upset because he thought he'd be watching Nats Extra on satellite by now. 3-0.
Ray Knight's having to rewrite his notes.
I think it's going to have the same happy ending, though. But you just don't want to have to go through this. Another strike. 3-2. Red Sox won their game 7-3 over Oakland just over minutes ago. Lay it in there, Jesus. See what he can do. He's hit 1 home run. It's a base hit. And I think it's safe to say he's got to come out of this game. Maniac has been warming up Chris Schroeder. The ones who have stayed believe.
Well, you hated to do that.
If they get 1 more base runner done, it's a save situation.
And it's ridiculous that Chad Cordero is having to warm up tonight in a ballgame that came into this inning by a 10-3 score.
If David Wright hits a ball out of the ballpark right now, it's 10-8. But right now, if David Wright gets on, it's a save situation. The tying run would be in the on-deck circle. And finally, here comes Manny.
It's a lot closer than it was. It is now 10-6 with the runner on. Let's go back to the 4th inning. Leading off the 4th inning was Justin Maxwell. He got a Glavine changeup coming into him. Hit it into the bullpen. Made a lot of folks happy. Maxwell family, Lenny Harris. And you know what? It made our Chevy drive of the game. The young man with his 2nd home run.
And there's nobody who kids him about his mom coming to all of his games. Don will chat with our articulate young outfielder. Something just dawned on me why this is happening and why it's now 10-6. In Philadelphia, the Braves got 3 in the 1st, and then Jimmy Rollins hit a home run. In New York, the Nats got 4. Jose Reyes hit a home run. Their final score was 10-6.
So it's got to follow the script, huh?
We were discussing baseball symmetry earlier in the evening.
Yes, we were.
And we're not real pleased with this. But let's see if Chad can go ahead and put an end to this. David Wright 0 for 4 with a pair of double play balls. One more would send us all out of here. That was Lasting's millage, by the way, with the rally cap. You know, they do dress the rookies up funny this time of the year.
And occasionally they dress themselves funny.
Inside out swing as Chad jammed David Wright.
You see what the Yankees did with their rookies? They dressed them all in the, the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz characters. I'm pretty sure we know who Oz is up there. I was thinking about that. If the Yankees would end up playing Cleveland, George Steinbrenner's hometown, built his empire there. Wonder who is Dorothy. 1 ball and 2 strikes to David Wright. That's a base hit. And now the tying run is on deck, and it's Moises Alou.
Center fielder.
The next hitter is Carlos Beltran. Do the Mets have a September miracle in them?
I know the sign I want Brian Schneider to stick down. Ground ball.
Tailing away for a strike. Beltran tonight 0 for 4. That was a patented David Wright right field base hit. 29 hits in this game now. The Nats still lead 10-6. Breaking ball. Counts even. I'm sure some Phillies are in their clubhouse watching this.
And some Braves may be sitting in theirs watching it with interest too.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Beltran with 1 out, 2 aboard, 3 runs home here in the 9th. Maniacta having to go much deeper into his bullpen than he ever envisioned just a couple of innings ago, and even at the start of this inning. They were booing, and now they're having a ton of fun here.
Yeah, those long faces have perked up considerably, haven't they?
3-2 with 1 out. The bases are loaded. And Moises Alou is the tying run walking into the batter's box.
Nationals defense has gone to the anti-double setup. Everybody very deep and spread out.
Alou, the 8th Met to bat in the inning. Breaking ball misses. The Mets would need 7 runs in this inning to tie. They already have 3, and they have 3 men on base. That's going to score a couple. That's going to score 3, and the score is 10-9. Moises Alou, a 4-for-5 night.
That's a good swing. You don't usually see him hitting the ball that way, but he drilled that one in the corner, crossed up the defense.
John Roush is coming into this game to try to get a save. Chad Cordero couldn't get anybody out. John Roush hopefully will. Unbelievable in New York. Ten to 9, a 6-run inning for the Mets, only 1 out, and Carlos Delgado, the 9th man to bat. Crowd of 49,244, and probably about 5,000 of them left, making a ton of noise. John Roush gets ahead of a hitter. Haven't seen that much this inning.
And started him with a changeup. We haven't seen that much from John Roush.
A 9th inning that is really important to the National League East race. Big breaking ball, and Felipe Lopez has gone up the middle to the right field side of second base.
Well, he's in a position there to make sure too that he keeps Indy Chavez close. Ryan Zimmerman had to move over to stand near the bag with a runner at second, but they got to keep him from getting a huge lead.
Goes with a fastball, misses away.
That's a show-him pitch. He got strike 1 with a changeup. He got strike 2 with a curveball. That's a show-him pitch on the fastball.
Carlos Delgado hooks it out of the ballpark, foul.
Another curveball, but this time he didn't get it down and in like he wanted it. Fortunately, he did get it in far enough that Delgado couldn't keep it fair. That's a good pitch to him, but you got to make sure you get it down near the dirt. He'll go after it and swing over it if you can get it down there.
And a fastball away that he fouls to the left. Going, swing and a miss, the throw, but he's safe. because the throw was short. So Delgado is out. And if Brian Schneider had thrown that ball 90 feet and not 88, this game would be over. Zimmerman and Don Zimmerman had to make sure that ball did not get by him.
You are 100% correct. Here's the strike him out. Fastball by him. And the throw, Zimmerman had to come to the bag, get inside to make sure he caught it. Schneider sees him going. The line is perfect, and if he gets it up just a little, but when Zimmerman had to come over the bag to make the play, he wasn't able to get back and tag.
That was really a risky base running play with a left-handed batter. 2 outs, tying run 90 feet away. Paul Loduca, 2 walks and a single tonight. He started this mess with a leadoff single. Breaking ball, fly ball right field. Austin Kearns is there, and the Nationals hold on to win. 10-9 in 3 hours and 40 minutes of wild September baseball. And John Roush gets his 4th save of the year.
And Manny Acta has his 3rd coronary of the night.
The pitcher is Jason Bergman. The losing pitcher is Tom Glavine. And John Roush gets the save.
Nats are in a position to sweep tomorrow. For Don Sutton and Debbie Taylor, I'm Bob Carpenter. 10-9. Join us tomorrow night. We'll get you going with the pregame show in the 3rd game of the series at 6:30 on MASN. This has been a presentation of the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. Stay tuned now. Catch your breath. Relax. Stay up with us for a while. It's presented by ChevyFirst.com. Johnny and Ray will tell you, folks, we had it all the way.